The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Standard Heating is having their 94-year celebration. They have special offers just for you this February. Whether you need a new furnace or a tune-up, they have something special for everyone. Visit standardheating.com to save today.
The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. 93
Boeing announced that the head of their troubled 737 MAX program is leaving the company after he was sucked out of an emergency exit.
Scientists are concerned that zombie deer disease could spread to humans, so please wear a condom.
The stars of the 1968 version of Romeo.
What happened?
I don't know.
All right, let's start that again.
Boeing announced that the head of their troubled 737 MAX program is leaving the company after he was sucked out of an emergency exit.
Scientists are concerned that zombie deer disease could spread to humans, so please wear a condom.
The stars of the 1968 version of Romeo and Juliet are suing Paramount to stop the digital release of their movie, which includes nude shots of them as teenagers. Paramount has agreed to lock it away where no one will ever see it, Paramount Plus.
An 84-year-old woman from Canada is attempting to join the WNBA, and early scouting reports say she can really mop the court with her long-ass titties.
Red Lobster is celebrating its annual Lobster Fest by offering 150 people a 2-hour endless lobster experience, where you can take a lobster into a private room and do anything you want to it.
Hey, folks, all right, listen, I'm so not in the mood for you guys. Okay, today's Monday, all right? So stop doing your stupid radio thing, all right? So just keep it down, okay? Just stop doing what you're doing.
Friday, 5:58 p.m.
Fine, don't pick up the phone. But I hate you, and I hate your ass face.
There's something on the radio you should hear.
Showtime!
Cue music.
All right, so we started with some technical difficulties. That won't happen again.
No.
That was
Not
scary.
here. That is not a harbinger of what's to come.
That won't happen again.
Nah.
But this is the stuff right here. This is a feeling I've been waiting on all weekend. Welcome to the Monday edition of the 93X Half-Ass Morning Show. I was waiting on this all friggin' weekend.
Yeah, that coveted Monday morning feeling where nothing works.
And we're planning on putting in a full 5-day work week. We're planning on it. We're down one Muppet this morning. Silly-ass little old Wapple didn't make it in this morning. Word is that he's sick as a dog, but I wouldn't be surprised if that story's just some kind of shady cover-up for another DWI. I wouldn't put it past those radio people to pull off something shady. They do that kind of thing all the time.
It is funny whenever we have a random day off, that's what people assume.
That's what I'm assuming right now with Wapple not showing up.
I think we've only had one D-Dub on this show, and that was Wapple a decade ago or whenever that was.
He always shows up. He has absolutely nothing better to do. So his absence today, I got to tell you, is a little iffy.
I don't like it.
It's a little iffy.
I enjoyed listening to Dana press buttons manically as he's trying to figure out what's going on. You got your mic on over there. There's just button pressing, mashing. So you have no idea what happened?
No, I don't.
That's good. So it might be like this. Dana's first day running the board.
Not in my life, but at this radio station for sure.
We'll hang on to
It seems like
something.
the first in your life with what happened at the very beginning of the show.
It couldn't have gotten off to a better start, could it?
I'll just hang on to something, and we'll see what happens. We do hope that Wapple's little body recovers soon. I texted with him yesterday, and he said he's very sick. So sick, he hasn't even been able to smoke fat blunts.
Oh, no.
Or tap any ass, he said, ever since he got sick on, it was last Friday.
That's a big deal.
And that's impressive because that's better than what he was Friday and Saturday. He was telling me yesterday that it's his stomach that's kind of messing with him now. But Friday and Saturday, the kid couldn't open his eyes.
Couldn't open his eyes?
No, he just couldn't, no light, no anything. He had migraine super bad.
And no blunts and no ass.
Yeah, we didn't cover that.
From what I understand.
I picked up the slack for him on that.
You did?
I had a doobie.
Good for you.
Yeah.
I think he's been spraying fluids out of both ends.
That's what he said, yeah.
Oh, poor guy.
I think he was doing that. How was your weekend there, Cubby?
No complaints. Not a lot going on, which is my favorite type of weekend.
Were you at the Air Supply show Saturday night at Mystic Lake Casino?
I was not. I think you were. Were you at my son's basketball tournament on Saturday, Falcon Ridge Middle School?
I was at the Air Supply show Saturday.
Night.
Where were you wondering? Where?
I was wondering, well, you asked if I was at the concert you were at, so I was wondering if you were at the basketball tournament I was at.
I wouldn't dare go to that basketball tournament.
To support your godson?
Oh, you were watching my godson?
Yeah.
Then I probably would show up for such a thing. Yeah, I was over at the Air Supply concert. The boys put on another great show. Had a great time. They pack them in. Women are crying.
Do they pack them in? I mean, what kind of crowd did they get?
Oh, well,
pretty decent crowd?
Oh, it's packed. Whatever that Mystic Lake showroom, whatever. I'm no good at estimating numbers. But there's no empty seats. Well,
that's good to hear. I was wondering how, if that would be attended decently, and it sounds like it was.
Is anyone? Because I was wondering myself at the show, how many live human beings can you squeeze into that showroom they have down there at the Mystic Lake Casino? I don't know.
Place your bets, everyone. Place your bets.
Maybe someone can text in and tell me. 2,500, 3,000. I have no idea.
Yeah, I would say about $2,000. It seems like it's a nice space. It's a nice space.
2,100.
2,100.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, we get
4 private suites. Well,
wow, fancy.
I didn't see those. Dr. P. Jesus will be joining us later this morning.
Right when we need him. Maybe he could tell us what's going on with Wapple.
Yeah.
I don't know the last time Wapple's been sick enough not to smoke weed. That definitely says something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's been a while. So get your questions ready for the doctor. If, in fact, you're curious about something going on, something giving way with your body. Dr. P. Speaking of the human body, well, actually, I'll get to that in just a minute. Dr. P will be here. Is he going to be in studio?
Correct.
I would talk him out of that.
Well, he can go in with Ashley, and they're isolated, Ashley and Dana.
And this place is pretty diseased right now.
And so, and my fear is you add an element when he's on the phone, and it's already been disastrous on the board today. So,
oh, that's true.
He could just join that studio over there with Ashley.
Dr. P. Jesus, sure. A lot of folks ask genital questions when Dr. P is on. They do.
It makes sense, yeah, bikini area stuff, because that's the stuff typically you're nervous or embarrassed to go see the doctor about in person.
We could help with those right now if you can't wait. The text lines are open. 651-989-9393. We could try to help with that right now if you cannot wait. If you have a genital-related question, you need to ask it now. You can't wait until 8:20 or whenever Dr. P is going to wander in here. Go ahead. We'll do our best for you. 651-989-9393. But speaking of the human body, everyone should try and find the video that I watched over the weekend. Maybe some of you saw it too. The video of a gal complaining about McDonald's.
Oh, yes.
How dare she?
Does anyone, you know what I'm talking about, John?
I think, well, there's a lot of videos out there, but I'm guessing.
Dana, do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I haven't seen this
Ashley,
one.
you know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
Just look it up. Dana and Ashley, look it up while you're sitting there and just get back to me. Maybe some of you out there already know what I'm talking about. A video of a blonde I think she's complaining about the McGriddle sandwich or something. I'm not 100% sure what it is she was complaining about. And as it goes for any video you see online, I don't have any idea the legitimacy of the video. But just check out the gal complaining about the McGriddle sandwich at McDonald's. And just get back to me whenever you feel comfortable.
It might be hard to find because there are a lot of videos out there of people complaining.
Yeah, I've seen a lot.
Do I have to give away more information?
I think so, yeah.
She's blonde and she is stizacked.
That's not going to help.
That's not going to help?
No.
Oh, Christ, I don't know how to go any further.
There's videos going back a decade or more.
Well, then I don't know what to tell you. I saw it on the...
Chive?
The Chive, okay? The Chive. Go that route.
Okay.
I didn't realize there were that many videos of stacked blondes complaining about McDonald's.
Oh, yeah, okay. Type that in. Yeah, you'll be surprised.
Really? Okay, go to the Chive then. That'll help you out. I believe the title of the video says something about mommy milkers.
Oh, gosh.
God help us all.
Isn't that a porn type of thing?
I don't know.
Mommy milkers? Sounds like it.
I don't know if that's...
Well, there's that old saying, if it exists in real life, there's a porn version of it.
Oh, that actually helped that you said mommy milkers. They call them McMommy milkers.
McMommy. I'm just saying, I stumbled on it over the weekend. Let's say you're off to a bad start on a Monday morning and you need something to make you go, holy Christ, that's the video you should be watching right now. Speaking of videos, I spent some time with my brother over the weekend, Josh.
How'd that go? Because I know it can be volatile.
Well, it wasn't just me and him.
That helps.
That's when trouble starts. There were others involved. But I spent some time with my brother over the weekend, and speaking of videos, he had something to say. And he was quite adamant about this. I'm not trying to put everyone to work, looking at videos all morning long, and I don't want to, bother anybody, but my brother was very adamant that everyone, no matter who you are, should watch a Beyonce music video for a song called Texas Hold'em. Are you familiar with that number?
Beyonce?
Yes.
Cover? She does a cover of that?
A cover? Who?
Oh, no, I was thinking of Poker Face.
Okay, so this is new to you folks? This is really rare for me, that I'm dumping anything new on anybody. I'm just telling you that my brother also, speaking of videos that are supposedly... I say you got to watch the gal complain about the McGriddle sandwich. My brother says you should be watching a Beyonce music video for a song called Texas Hold'em. He wouldn't take no for an answer. Oh, I'm surprised. I thought maybe you guys could say, yeah.
I don't remember the last time I saw a music video, especially by a pop star.
Very true.
Oh, my bad.
I'll watch concerts from 80s bands, but yeah. Is it new?
I have no idea.
You guys seem familiar with the song.
The video I'm finding, it's like called the official visualizer. I don't know if that makes a difference, but is she just like in a really sexy outfit and you can like see her boobs basically, Nick? Is that the video you're talking about?
Oh yeah, there's boobs in this video for sure.
You hit something.
Oh, hi, you guys are back.
My microphone got turned off there.
This is good. This is going great so far.
Yeah, she's wearing next to nothing from what I understand.
Yeah, so it looks like it's pretty new, like last couple days.
Check them out. Check those videos out if you have a chance.
Finisher Jesus has a question for Dr. P. Jesus. You mentioned texting about your genitals. Maybe we could help you out early this morning.
Go ahead.
He's got a white spot on his sack, which itches like crazy at times.
God dang.
That's ball maggots. Good. He's got ball maggots.
Oh, God.
Oh, yeah, that's very common, I heard.
A white spot. Yeah. That is something you should... Maybe we'll pass that on to Dr. P. That sounds kind of scary. All right. Wapple's sick. The dude is down.
Nick got horny over the weekend.
I got horny?
Watching sexy Beyonce videos and videos of ladies with big boobs.
Yeah, I saw a little...
Complaining about McDonald's.
The McDonald's one was the one that I watched over and over again. I really didn't give Beyonce that much time. I didn't. But like I said, I thought I could throw it at you guys and you could go on and on about it. I didn't realize that I was tapping into something new. Wapple's sick. So let me ask you, because this has been a conversation online recently. Who's a bigger baby about being sick, men or women?
Men.
I'd say dudes.
Maybe by and large men, but I'm going to say my wife she's a bigger baby than I am about being sick, but she is a much better caregiver than I am.
Okay.
By far. There's no comparison. She's great at that kind of thing. And she almost never gets sick, but when she does, she's a pretty big baby about it.
But when you go down, she's there for you.
Oh, yeah. She could probably do that for a living. She's the greatest.
If you've got too many blankets, she'll take away some blankets. If there's not enough blankets, she'll bring you more.
That's right.
cook something for you, a little soup, a little this or that. That's nice.
I turn into a pretty big baby, but I think the reason men are bigger babies is because it could be like the smallest illness and they're going to make it a big deal.
I hear that. I do. I hear that.
Like, you have a cough and a runny nose, and so now you're dying on the couch.
Yeah, you can't help with anything.
Yeah.
Right? They just lay there.
You're fine. Take some medicine.
My wife's not like that at all. Like, she'll be legitimately sick and be a baby about it. But yes, if it's something little, she'd never complain.
Like Ashley said it's dudes. You guys both seem to think dudes are the bigger babies. I hear that all the time. I like to believe I'm not one of those. I like to believe that when I'm sick, I don't need anybody hovering over me and waiting on me. I'm content to just usually lay there and fall in and out of sleep, but I can get up and make myself something to eat. I can, fetch my own dope, whatever it is. I gotta take some pills. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't think I'm that guy, but I do hear that theory all the time. Now I'm trying to think, the women in my life, are they babies when they're ill? I don't think so. So I guess my personal experience is everyone kind of takes care of themselves. But according to a poll, big pile of people were asked if they'd rather be taken care of or just be left alone when they're sick. 53% of women would rather just be left alone.
Oh, really? I want to be taken care of.
Do you?
Yeah. I don't want to get up to go get water.
Well, okay. 53% of women would rather be left alone compared to 47% of men. So I guess that's what makes us the bigger babies.
Mine probably stems from the fact of, like, when I was younger, my mom was really good at that when I was sick. Like, she was just an angel. I almost liked being sick because she was so good at taking care of me.
Oh, God, we were guilt-tripped when we were sick.
Really? Oh, definitely.
I think it prepared me, at least, for a career in radio.
If I was on my deathbed, my parents would wheel me into school. Or just wheel me towards school, and then I was on my own.
Yeah, because you never missed a day of school in your life, did you?
Nope.
That's impressive.
I missed part of the day when I ripped my tongue off because I didn't believe that if you stick your tongue to a frozen pole, it would stick. I missed the first class, but that was it.
It's probably our own faults that we were, and when I say that I'm speaking of me and my brother and my sister, it's probably our own fault that we weren't taken seriously when we were sick by our parents because we were kind of shady, dishonest kids. So they assumed that we were just pulling some kind of scam.
Yeah.
All right. This is interesting. Guys were far more likely to want their mommy when they're feeling unwell.
Maybe because of what you just said, Ashley.
Yeah, when I'm really sick, the only person I want is my mom.
These guys that I'm referencing that would want their mommy, they must have had mothers like Ashley's who went above and beyond to make sure they were doing okay. 58% of dudes wish their mom could still take care of them when they're sick, and I can already feel the mother jokes coming into our text.
Oh, they've been coming in.
Yeah. 58% wish their mom could still take care of them when they're sick. 43% of dudes think that their mom would take better care of them than their significant others would. Well, no one should have to take care of you. You're a grown person. I mean, unless you're just deathly ill. Only 35% of women said their husband or boyfriend would take better care of them than their mother would. Guys are also more prone to let people know when they're sick. We want that attention. We want you to feel bad for us or make room for us, I guess. Guys.
I don't feel that way.
No, I don't either. 30% of guys have posted an I'm sick photo on social media.
What in the world? Stop that. Don't do that.
Well, Ashley, you and Dana, you guys are all over social media. Have you noticed that?
No.
No. Maybe I'm not friends with those kind of people.
Thankfully.
Did Wapple post anything?
No.
No?
He doesn't post anything even when he is feeling healthy.
Oh, he doesn't?
I guess I've seen girls do it, and the specific girls I'm thinking of, they've always been like, oh, I want attention.
So it's fishing for compliments?
No, it's like a picture of them in bed, just like with their eyes shut, like looking disheveled, like, oh, not feeling good.
So fishing for compliments, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, girl, even though you're sick, you still look beautiful, queen.
Yeah, or like if they post a picture of like their arm with their IV in it, if they're like at the hospital for like hydration or something. I'm like, geez.
Cheek spreading Jesus said, my dad was old school. If you were homesick, you stayed in bed. If you're feeling well enough to play video games or anything else, you were good enough to go to school. That's how it is at our place too.
Makes
Same
sense.
thing.
That's a good rule of thumb.
So there's a certain amount of dudes who will post an I'm sick photo on social media.
That's so bad.
Less women are involved in that kind of thing, which surprises me.
Yeah, me too.
80%. Okay. 80% of women say they can handle being sick better than we dudes. I guess I'll have to take a closer look at myself and the women in my life when they're sick, and maybe I can form a better opinion on this. But I guess I don't have a lot of experience with people just being straight up babies. I need this, I need that. I haven't experienced that in my life, I guess. When I'm sick, when others in my life are sick, they're laid out for a while. They handle their business until they're better, and then they move on with their lives. This is an interesting question now from a dude listener on the theory of men being bigger babies when they're sick. Are we bigger babies, they ask, or just smarter when it comes to using people?
Jeez.
What do you get? Your sick gift, or
you mean a bowl of
getting
soup
out of work
brought to you? You know, that kind of thing. I think that's what they mean. You get a bowl of soup brought to you. You get folks to do your job for you for a day or two. Maybe we're just better at using people.
That was always my thing. Like, I felt like I'd be screwing my coworkers over.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they'd have to pick up the slack or whatever it was.
I feel like I'm inconveniencing people, and I hate that.
Well, it used to be, there'd be some shame if you didn't. Now it's like, if you sneeze, hey, take the day off. Get out of here. Don't make everybody else
don't
sick.
touch me.
That's true. That's true.
It's almost like for a while, I don't know if it's the same, but certain companies, including ours, like, you'd get in trouble if you came in sick.
Yeah, it's a totally different approach around here. Totally different approach. I like how it is now. Everyone just kind of backs away from you when you're sick now. They don't have any cute comments or any other fresh nonsense coming out of their mouth. If you're sick these days in this business, people just get the hell out of the way, and we'll see you when we see you.
Yep.
That's not the way it was 20 years ago.
But people are saying Wapple did post. That's
what?
a joke. Okay. Ask me about CrossFit. Jesus said Wapple did post a picture, right, in a text, and then he sent a picture, and it's Kermit. Kermit the Frog is in bed blowing his nose. You got me on that one.
Come on. He is the second coming of Kermit the friggin'
absolutely.
Frog.
Yeah.
Or any other scrawny Muppet. But the one he most resembles, I think, if you ask any of us, is Kermit the Frog. Okay, I'm getting some positive response from the Mommy Milkers McDonald's video.
I did see the video. They are quite jiggly.
I'll tell you what. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. There you go. I'm glad I brought it up because people are starting to come around to it. Again, this is foreign territory for me to bring up two videos and not have everyone say, yeah, dummy, that's been around for 8 months.
Yeah, I'm proud of you.
I'm proud too. Bug Eye Wagon Jesus, I watched the Mommy Milkers McDonald's video 4 times. Oh, God. And there were some just hilarious comments on the Chive. Hilarious comments from people watching that video. Let me see if I can find a couple of those for you real quick. My computer's going slower than the second coming of Christ, but I think I can.
It is taking a while, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe this isn't going to happen.
Well, I know one of them says, wait, there was audio?
Right.
Watching that. I didn't hear a word she said.
Oh, God.
I don't see a car seat in the back, so I'm hoping she's single.
That's funny. No car seat in the back. I've heard of that little trick before. I never had the presence of mind for that. When you meet a girl and maybe, somehow, some way you're You're standing around her car. You kind of peek over her shoulder to see if there's a car seat.
When I worked at the Minnesota Zoo, I'd be walking around and there'd be a lot of people pushing strollers, and I'd always look to see on the hands of the stroller, the handlebar. I would look at the ring finger and say, "Is that mom or is that nanny?" A lot of time it was nanny.
Oh yeah, I used to because I'm an aunt. I would run into that situation quite a bit. Or the cute guy would be like, "Oh, is that yours?" No, it's not.
No kidding.
I like this text from someone on the lady with the big boobs. I really think she has a valid point or two. She seems very abreast of the real issue. And that real issue is enormous inflation.
Straight up married women tweeted about that video and said, I couldn't even focus on what she was saying. That's great. It made my day fun yesterday. Yesterday was kind of boring, and then I bumped into that and changed everything. All right, we might as well get moving. We're just getting started with hopefully a 5-day work week here on the Half-Ass Morning Show, although there's another illness whipping around the room. It got Wapple. We'll see if it claims anybody else. But Dr. P. Jesus is going to be swinging by a little bit later. Oh, we'll talk with What's His Nuts and the other guy coming around 7:30, the Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder. We'll get her going for real when we come back on the Half-Ass Morning Show.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act, they're a nuisance.
93X.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
Standard Heating is having their 94-year celebration. They have special offers just for you this February. Whether you need a new furnace or a tune-up, they have something special for everyone. Visit standardheating.com to save today.
Stupid news on the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Go. Done effing around. And cut to the chase. Get to that stupid news. Fred Mercury and David Bowie, they sang that song years ago, didn't they, Cubby, about being under pressure?
That's one of my favorite songs.
You like that one?
I love that song.
They sang the balls off of that one, being under pressure. Some folks have a knack for being good under pressure. A knack for being good in the clutch. Some do not have that skill. They do not. Like this prick. In a town called Akron, Ohio. The prick attempted to rob a local grocery store, and when that clutch moment happened, he folded, and he effed the whole thing up. Like most of us would. I guess. Last Wednesday night, here comes Dinkus into the neighborhood grocery. He's a white fella, they said, about 6 foot tall, wearing a mask, wearing a black hooded sweatshirt. He walks up to the front counter to buy something or another. And he did. He bought something. He was given change for his purchase and all that. And then he told the cashier that he had a gun. And he wanted all the damn money out the register, or he's going to shoot somebody dead. Now, while Dinkus wasn't looking, someone behind the front counter sounded an alarm of some kind. And as soon as he heard the alarm, he ran out of the store faster than you can say Jack Robinson. He got no money out the register, and he left his change sitting right there on the front counter.
So they're up.
So like I said, that clutch moment came, and he didn't have what it takes to handle it. In the end, he lost money during his little caper.
Yeah. I would definitely fold. I suck under pressure.
You're not that clutch character that we can count on?
No, I just can't stay calm. My anxiety gets the better of me.
See, I feel that way about myself, but I must say some of the greatest athletic achievements I've ever had have been under immense pressure.
Well, tell me about it. Tell us about it.
Nick, you were there for a charity golf tournament where I tried my best to wait these very attractive girls out. It was my first time playing golf, and I was not performing well whatsoever.
You were terrible.
Very bad. And they show up, of course, right when it's my turn to get up there and drive. And so we were having conversations. I'm coming up with everything I can to keep talking to them and then saying, well, all right, yeah, so nice to meet you, that kind of thing, hoping they'd walk away, and they didn't.
No, they were standing and waiting for your shot.
And yeah, we got to the point where there was nothing I could do. It was obvious I needed to get up there and just absolutely blow it in front of these women. And I hit the shot of my life. I've never, ever hit a drive that well before or since. And I thought, how did this happen? And you guys are making fun of me like that doesn't make any sense what just happened right there.
That's awesome.
And I acted, crap. I've been doing so much better today. I can't believe I hit that one.
When the club contacted the ball, it even made just the most beautiful sound. And I was there, like Josh said. You had just smooth whiffed and completely missed maybe your last 5-6 shots.
Yeah.
But you came through. You did.
I think the reason is, when you're learning, at least to me, when people are teaching me, there's so many things to, all right, do this, keep your shoulders this way, your head this way, do this, do that. And I didn't think of any of that. All I could think about was, this is so embarrassing. And so I took my mind off it, and that worked. The other time was I was in Rochester bowling with a girlfriend at the time. And it was one of those, what do they call that? Like the Moonlight Bowls or whatever they call it.
Galactic bowling?
Yeah, something like that.
Galactic, whatever.
Something
sure.
like that.
It's fancy schmancy black lights and disco balls and right.
And they picked our lane and they shine a light on it. And it just so happens that it was my turn to bowl. And we were the lane next to us was the Rochester High School bowling team.
Oh, that's pressure.
Which was a lot of fun, talking to those guys here. And they were, of course, very good. And so I thought, oh my God, why are they picking on me? And there was a packed bowling alley, and I bowled a strike. And my next one, I bowled another strike.
Whoa.
That just doesn't happen to me. Got completely lucky.
And again, did you keep your composure? Like, yeah, I kind of figured it was going to be a strike. You didn't. Did you celebrate at all?
I was so psyched on the inside, it probably leaked out, Dana. I don't remember.
So you have proven that when it comes to athletics, you are a clutch performer.
Well, at least those two instances.
I think that's enough.
Maybe I've forgotten the bad ones.
No, I think that's enough to prove that you're a guy we can.
I mean, I've played some very bad driveway basketball with my son and the neighbor kids, that's for sure.
And it sounds like the Papa Shot game that you have in your house also gives you some problems from time to time.
Yeah, I'm not very good at that.
Not good with the Papa Shot.
Although, now that I think, my oldest came by to play some basketball with us, and I didn't want to look like a fool in front of him, and I had the game of my life.
When you play Papa Shot, you don't use the backboard, do you?
I guess I don't know. I'm just trying to get it in the direction it's supposed to go.
You shouldn't be using the backboard. But now that you're talking, I have a clutch moment type of a story to tell you, and it also deals with athletics. Back in high school, one of my best buddies, odd as hell, always has been, always will be, Dane. You guys know Dane.
Yep.
Love Dane.
Dane was involved
Just saw Dane
in the
at Mr. Big.
Yeah, he was there, and he's strange, isn't he?
He's not strange.
He seems pretty normal, but
oh my God, he's got you guys fooled.
He's creative and unique.
So, back in high school, Dane was part of this video team. They would, in our senior year, they came up with this television news gimmick. And now I think every school has had it since, but that was the very first year that a school would put together a television news segment. 10 minutes in the morning, they'd say, well, fish sandwich for lunch, and the high school hockey team plays against Edina. That was the thing. So Dane worked on that program, and he would have to go out and shoot funny videos that they would use during the morning news segment at our high school. And we decided to put together this phony basketball video where I was the star of the video, and we used editing and things like that to make it look like I'm Michael Jordan. I'm soaring through the air, spinning dunks. And of course, we're using chairs to get me up to the rim and clever editing. But there was one part of the video where we in an empty gym, and I'm just standing at center. We called it Airborne. Do you follow the gimmick there?
Yeah,
Instead of Air Jordan, it was Airborne. And I'm standing in the gym alone at center court. And he says, okay, dribble it 3 times through your legs and launch a shot from midcourt towards the basket, and we'll edit it to where the ball swishes through the basket. But it just so happened on the first take, I dribbled it through my legs 3 times. I put up the midcourt shot, and it couldn't have been a more perfect swish.
Did they get it on camera? I
Yes.
hope? Okay, good.
And we got it. So no editing. He said, I quickly turned and said, you got that, right? And he said, yeah. So we used it in this funny video on our morning news at the high school. Everyone thought it was cute. Okay, fast forward a couple weeks. I'm taking night school classes because I had to.
It happens.
I'm taking night school classes. And part of night school was you had to hang around for an hour after real school ended before all the losers would file in, like myself, would file into night school.
Oh, I hated that.
You went to night school?
Yes.
Or is that? I think that's what they called it, night school. Yeah, anyway, the dummies like myself, we had to, get our extra credits. So there was an hour or so between regular school and night school, and what we would do was hang around the gym and play basketball. So I'm standing there with the basketball in hand, waiting for night school to begin, and these 2 cute little sophomore girls walk into the gym. And they said, oh, hey, it's Airborne. And they were cute, and I wanted to impress them. And they said, was that all real? And I said, well, watch this. And just like in the video, I dribbled it 3 times through my legs, total prayer, threw it up, it swished again.
Nice.
Awesome.
And these gals looked at each other as if I was somebody.
That's incredible.
Couldn't have asked for a better ending to that.
Yeah, sometimes, you just get lucky, and that was my case. That happened to be at the worst possible moment where I thought this could go real bad.
You did well. Next up in the stupid news, here we go. It finally happened. We hyped this event once or twice over the last month or so. The inaugural Florida Man Games happened over the weekend in a town called St. Augustine, Florida.
That's so great.
And it appears to have been a huge success. If you hadn't heard of it, it's basically like a hillbilly Olympics for Florida people who are all iffy. Every damn last one of them, iffy.
Sounds like something ESPN will start airing on the Ocho when they do that weekend.
That would be great.
A good idea.
I think you're right. With how popular this was, I could see that happening.
Events at the Florida Games included a mullet contest, even though that bit stopped being funny 20 years ago. They had a mud duel with pool noodles. Did you get on someone's shoulders for that? Is that what or no, were they just standing in a pool full of mud? I can't remember, Josh.
They were not on anybody's shoulders.
Okay. You're in a pool filled with mud, and you beat each other to death with pool noodles. There was an evading arrest obstacle course where actual cops chase people down.
That's my favorite.
They say it's not clear how many people showed up, but the pictures I saw, they had a huge crowd. Great crowd.
Drinking beer, having fun with our friends, and then jousting somebody.
Wild, messy, and hilarious. Alligators, nudity, and drugs. We couldn't get nudity and we couldn't get drugs.
Man, honestly, because I love God and I love America, and I'm here to be a Florida man.
There's some of the folks who were involved right there. Yeah, because Florida is so riddled with nudity and drugs, they wanted to make that part of the games, but the local cops said, no, we can't have jugs and meth. And so they had to cut that out. Tickets were $50.
Whoa.
But everyone looked like they were having a great time. They showed shots of the crowd was slugging beers and doing a lot of cursing. It wasn't the same rules in the bleachers at the Florida games as maybe you might find at a Twins game. You could stand up and just MF somebody at the Florida games from the bleachers.
It was actually encouraged to MF somebody.
There were quotes, further quotes from people who were involved. A guy named James Gordon. He won the barbecue pork and sausage speed eating contest. And he said, I've lived in Florida my whole life. They're calling these events. I'm calling this effing Tuesday afternoon. So he's a hard-on. The only real issue people seem to have was that there were no women's competitions. The only event for women was a Florida Ma'am pinup contest. So they got some skin to win kind of a thing, but not too much as I explained already. They couldn't have real nudity. One of the judges was some gal who used to be on American Gladiators. So star-studded event. I love some of the other goings-on here at the Florida games. What did I have here in front of me? Oh, there was a contest where you had to ride a bicycle with a second bicycle strapped to your back.
Oh, like you're stealing a bike?
Yeah, I watched those videos, and it didn't specifically say it, but it had to have been, right? Like you're stealing a bike.
Right. So you had to, along the way, you're riding one bike, halfway through you have to switch to the other bike. All the while, you're carrying a catalytic converter and a handful of copper pipes, which are common items that get stolen in Florida, well, anywhere these days, but this stuff looked like a hell of a good time. What kind of contest could we come up with for a Minnesota man or Minnesota ma'am festival?
Outside of stuff like ice fishing and stuff like
well, ice auging.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like
running an ice auger.
Yeah, after like 10 beers.
Winter driving. Well, we're looking for specific Minnesota stuff here. If we were to put on an event like this, ice auging, winter driving, snow blowing, I think absolutely. Snow
I bet there could be
blowing.
some shoveling contests. That'd be kind of fun.
Shoveling to get the paramedics ready for the shoveling contest.
Lutefisk eating.
Oh, sure.
There you go.
Sure.
It's a good one.
Something like that. Absolutely. Like
passive-aggressive insult competition.
That'd be awesome.
A Prince look-alike contest. Skating while drunk for all you beer league hockey players. If you have any other ideas for Minnesota's version of the Florida Man contest, go ahead and text us, 651-989-9393. Specific Minnesota-type stuff that we could do.
We should set this up. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
We could.
I just thought about how much work it would be. Never mind.
It would be a hell of a lot of work.
Commenting on the weather to a complete stranger? Sure, it can be nice today.
That's not bad.
Porcelain Punisher Jesus said, how about running across some ice while trying not to spill a tater tot hot dish?
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Something like that would be a lot of, running across ice.
Oh, there is something called the Ice Auger Rodeo. We'll have to look that up.
Deer gutting.
Yeah.
That's got me written all over it.
You're good with the deer gutting?
Absolutely not.
Oh, that's funny right here. Grilled Cheese Jesus texted in, we could have a heartbreaking Vikings trivia. Just the bad stuff.
Beef Cannon Jesus, longest Minnesota goodbye competition.
Oh, that's brilliant.
I want in on that one.
Oh, you would win that someday.
I think I'd do very well,
You
actually.
are the long goodbye king of Hennepin County.
Yep.
It just depends on the other competitors from the other counties. But you would represent Hennepin County in the Minnesota goodbye competition. A lot of work. Maybe we could try to set this up.
Somebody says a Duck Duck Goose tournament, but that wouldn't work here.
No.
It's Duck Duck Grey Duck.
Yeah.
Right.
How it should be.
Standing over the guy who's manning the grill and commenting on the food on the grill.
I never do that. I don't insult a man's grilling. I'm not. It's like backseat driving. I don't say a word.
Yeah, not a good idea.
I hear you.
Oh, you're leaving it on there a little long, aren't you, buddy? You're flipping that a little too much.
We've got some great ideas coming in. I'll make sure we write some of these down.
Oh, an ice scraping race. That's great.
It's great.
Pothole dodging obstacle course.
All right, Cubby, another day, another scam. You and I should put our heads together and try to pull off a great scam one of these days. I say we pick on the elderly. Who do you want to target with our scam?
I don't know.
I say we
Scammers.
pick on, who?
Scammers.
Oh, scam the scammer.
We're never going to scam the scammers. They're the smartest
That's
people.
the challenge.
I want to scam the elderly. God.
Pick on the weak.
Yeah. I did that for a while for a living. I was a telemarketer. Anyway, another scam. A 36-year-old woman in Ireland was in a car accident 7 years ago. Her vehicle was rear-ended. She filed a personal injury lawsuit for $825,000. That's a lot of money, $825,000. She said she was left with a disabling condition after this car wreck. Years of constant back and neck pain is what she claimed. She couldn't work. For more than 5 years, she didn't work. Couldn't play with her kids. She couldn't carry out basic chores. She couldn't even take out the trash. So this lawsuit has been tied up for a while in the courts. You know how that happens. It's taken a while, but it's underway now. And recently, there's $800. Is that me?
I don't know.
There's $825,000 on the line. Now, recently, in this court case, the court was shown a newspaper photo from 2000 plus 18, less than a year after the crash, showing this woman participating in a Christmas tree throwing contest.
Whoa.
She's heaving a large spruce tree in the photo, just... And so she's busted.
What an idiot.
No kidding.
She said...
A lot of people, they own themselves. That's crazy to me.
She still wanted to try to, come out the winner in this argument. She said that even though she looked happy in the picture of her throwing a tree, she was in excruciating pain at the time. The judge didn't buy it. Of course, he or she didn't, and threw out her case. Dude, what the F were you thinking? You were all set to claim over $800,000. Your scam had them all fooled, but you couldn't resist signing up for a damn Christmas tree throwing competition?
Too cocky or dumb or a bad combination of both.
What was the prize for first place? I bet it was a turkey or a ham.
Probably.
You lost out on $800,000 for a Christmas tree throwing contest. Man.
Looked like she could launch it pretty good, though. I must say, she's got a talent.
That
Does she
sounds
have
fun.
a strong back?
Yeah.
What a shame. I mean, of course, I'm happy that the scammer got caught, but I want to get face to face with this woman and ask her, what the hell were you thinking? Brings up a great story, though. One of my favorite all-time people, one of my best friend's dads, a guy by the name of Bob, who passed terribly, sadly. Bob passed a couple months ago. One of my favorite people, one of the best people I've ever been lucky enough to know in my life. This has got to be 30 years ago. Bob was building a deck on the back of his house on a wicked, wicked hot Minnesota summer day. We have to incorporate wicked, uncomfortable heat into our Minnesota Man contest, don't we, Josh?
Yeah.
Because
the
of the
humidity.
God, some kind of humidity contest of some sort. Anyway, so Bob was building a deck on the back of his house on this wicked hot day, and here comes a news van up his driveway, and a news guy gets out and he says, to Bob, do you mind if I ask you about, what you're doing? We're doing a story on the hot weather. And Bob says, sure. And so the newsman, what are you up to? I'm building a deck. What do you think of this heat? Your typical type question and answer type thing. And when the news guy got done with all the video shots and all the audio that he needed from Bob, the news guy says, okay, man, be careful out here today. Now, thanks a lot, and you'll see yourself tonight on the news. And Bob goes, oh, no, you're not going to run any of that, are you? I'm on disability. And the news guy's face just went blank. I was out here for 45, and Bob goes, I'm kidding. You can run it. Go ahead.
That's hilarious.
Oh, God, he got that sumbitch. And he ended up on the news, Bob did.
How do you even come up with something like that? That's good.
A very, very funny guy. How about this for our Minnesota Man contest, which we're setting up? How long you can sit in a sauna? Okay, yeah, we got a lot of big, stubborn Swedes and dopey Norwegians that like to sit in those saunas all night long. Sure, that might be something.
Somebody else mentioned a 4-way passive-aggressive stop sign standoff.
Oh, yes.
No, you go. You already inched forward. You might as well go.
Ah, wow. I love it. Our listeners, as we've mentioned many times before, are the most clever crowd in town. So
I don't think there's a competition.
We should.
If there was, they'd win it.
Yeah, we should be able to at least come up with a decent list. Maybe we can hand it off to someone who knows what they're doing, and one day we'll have a Minnesota Man contest. Oh, I still got some time to fill. We're still smack dab in the middle of the stupid news. I'm very sorry to be the one to have to tell you this, but the Japanese Naked Man Festival has ended, and it will never happen again.
Sad.
I never got to see it in person.
No, none of us
did. It's a long flight.
Yeah.
But it's naked men, though.
Yeah, that's your thing, I know. But you know, they're not naked. It's a little disappointing. They're wearing, like, basically diaper thongs.
They've been throwing the Naked Man Festival for over 1,000 years.
Wow.
The Japanese fellas they've tucked their dongs away for good. It's over. It makes me a little sad, to be honest with you. We mentioned this a few weeks ago. I think the story that we talked about a few weeks ago with the Japanese Naked Man Festival was that normally it's bros only. But this year they were going to let a few gals jump in with them for the very first time. The festival involves hundreds of dudes just wearing loincloths, like Josh said. Now, I did see some photos where the loincloths were so small on some of these guys that they did have to blur the photos out. Maybe they might have had a nut hanging. They're just wearing loincloths, like Josh might be the only one who gets this reference, like they were members of the old metal band Man O' War. Remember those guys?
You know, my buddy of mine just referenced Man O' War the other day. That's crazy.
If you're a young person and you don't know Man O' War, they actually were pretty talented.
Oh, I agree.
Their gimmick was just big anthems and high notes that will haunt you until the day that you die. Man O' War. They walked around with just those loincloths on. If you don't know what I'm talking about, that's okay. The Japanese dudes, they put on the little loincloths, and then they spend all day at a temple wrestling around and doing weird ritualistic stuff. The exact details don't really matter. It is interesting that it's cold as balls this time of year in Japan, so you got to be tough to be in the Naked Man party.
Yeah, maybe that's part of it.
But they're shutting it down. It must be. They're shutting it down for good after 1,000 F-me running years, simply because of a lack of interest overall. Times have changed, and the young bucks in Japan don't really feel like getting three-quarters naked and grinding up and down on other dudes all day long out in the cold. Just a lack of interest.
Yeah, you know, after all that time, it is too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I kept it going for 1,000 years.
But it is funny, the Man O' War reference you made, because a buddy of mine likes to, he'll say, okay, he'll name like a band member from an obscure band. And the other day he's like, okay, Eric Adams, the lead singer of Man O' War. And I thought, I haven't heard somebody reference that in a long time, and here we go, twice in like 2 weeks.
Almost nobody cared about Man O' War. This year's winner of the Naked Man Festival was a cat named Kikuchi Toshiaki, and he was bittersweet. When talking about the whole deal, he went ahead and said, "It is sad that the festival is ending. I participated in hopes that it would be a memorable festival," he said, while he was admiring the autographed Mr. Big poster that he got at one of their 11 sold-out stadium shows that the band played a few weeks ago in Japan. The good news is there are other naked dude parties to go to in Japan. This wasn't the only one, but I do believe it was the oldest. So, naked Japanese men will be able to sign up for similar events, but this was the oldest in town. So there's some knowledge I bet your buddies didn't know, and you can tell them tonight at the bar. Damn dogs are running buck wild down there in Florida. In terrible, awful, disgusting Tampa, Florida. A lady got the pants scared off of her by a 3-pack of German Shepherds. The 3 dogs, running loose in town apparently, jumped into the front seat of this lady's motor vehicle as she was dropping off her kids at daycare. And once the dogs got up in there, she couldn't get the bastards to get the hell out.
That's terrifying.
The pictures are very funny.
They're cute.
But at first, yeah, she didn't know. This lady goes by the name of Kendra Clark. She told the local television news that she had left her car door open as she was walking her 1-year-old kid to the front door of the daycare building. When she turned around, she saw the 3 dogs standing between her and her vehicle. And she hollered at the dogs, "You better not get in my car." And I bet the key word there was car.
Yeah.
And as soon as she dumped that line on them, they all jumped in her front seat. What scared this Clark lady so much, I mean, she didn't know who these dogs at all. She didn't know what they were capable of. She had an 8-year-old that was still in the back seat, so she rushed in and she pulls that kid out the car. And there sat the dogs, and they refused to budge. At one point, somebody tried to lure the dogs out by offering up some fish sticks. Now, I love fish sticks.
Oh, in your mouth?
Absolutely. Well, where else am I going to put fish sticks? The dogs weren't interested, so they remained sprawled out in the lady's car. She had to call the cops. Police were able to get the dogs out of her car and into the back of their patrol car. The dogs were taken to some kind of animal shelter, and later they were returned to their obviously wildly irresponsible owner. But these dogs, I understand, are notorious, infamous, however you want to put it, in the neighborhood. They're very, very friendly, but they just run wild. And their owner is obviously a moron. You don't do that. I have a friend or two who over the years have had dogs. You guys probably have experienced this. It didn't matter who you were. It didn't matter if the dog had known you for 10 years or 10 seconds. If you open a car door, they jump in and they want to go for an immediate car ride.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. One of our dogs loves getting in the car. Absolutely loves it.
It makes me think of my buddy. Lives kind of out in the middle of nowhere, Skis. Kind of a bumpy-ass country road, which leads to a bumpy-ass country driveway, is how you get to his property. And one day we were all leaving his property, and, we're kind of bouncing around in the cab of his pickup, in his driveway, which was not out of the ordinary, like I told you. And suddenly we hit kind of a bigger bump. And my buddy goes, "Son of a bitch." And we said, "What?" And he goes, "I just ran over my dog."
Oh, no.
Was he joking or?
No.
He actually did?
Yeah, the dog was fine.
Oh, all right.
He broke some bones, but he was fine in the end. But yeah, he ran over his own dog.
Tell the sweetest story sometimes.
Yeah. I don't think I would be so nonchalant about that.
Well, I mean, it was concerning, but the dog was fine. You should have been there. It was hilarious. Because he goes, "Son of a bitch," and we all thought, "What, you forgot your wallet?" "Nah, I just ran over my dog." I never even saw the dog. So, what time is it? Oh, God. All right, here's something different for you. A little different. We'll close out with this, Cubby. Story out of Poland. And it's always an adventure when you get these stories from faraway places where the verbiage and the language is... To me, it sounds like some whackbag stole a horse, and then he tried to hide the big stolen stupid horse in his apartment. But kind of like the dude from our first story, if you can remember way back about the dude who, his clutch moment came and he failed. Kind of like that dude, this horse thief wasn't quite cut out for such a thing. He effed it up. Cops were called when folks saw the dude trying to walk a horse up a flight of stairs in an apartment complex. Can you imagine coming across that?
Yeah, that'll raise some attention.
What the hell's going on? Now, I don't know too much about horses, but I doubt climbing a set of stairs in an apartment complex with a complete stranger is something that a horse is willing to do easily. First thing I thought was this dude's lucky the horse didn't just cut loose and stomp a mud hole in his ass. But a fellow resident of the apartment sees this gong show stupid pet trick happening, and they called the cops. The horse thief jag-off, he ran like hell. The good Samaritan who called the cops held on to old Sugar Biscuit until the cops showed up. The cops caught stupid ass, arrested him, and now he could be looking at 5 years in the 5 years in the jug.
Man.
The cops said
5
it was,
years.
Yeah.
I suppose back in the day, if you steal somebody's horse, they're going to string you up or shoot you or something.
The cops said that it was, quote, a problematic 19-year-old kid who stole the horse from a local farm. He had been seen hanging around the farm in the past and had tried to steal a horse once before.
That terrifies me to think what he wanted to do with that horse.
Oh,
yeah, I didn't
creepy
think of
hanging
that.
around.
Oh, my God. But he was trying to get the damn thing to walk steps all the way up to the 3rd floor so he could hide it in his apartment, and as Josh just said, God knows why. The bad news is that even though the horse was returned to the farm, the poor bastard was traumatized by this situation, and it's going to be a while before it gets back to normal. Nice job, butthole. Scared the hell out of a nice, innocent horse. You know who I bet doesn't enjoy this story is those horse girls. Is that the term?
Yeah, horse girls.
Equestrian Jesus might be a little upset.
For there was a stretch of time when people kept texting us about horse girls and said they're trouble. But I don't know anything about it. I just knew it was like a hip thing to complain about for a while. Horse girls do this, and it must have been an internet thing for a while.
Maybe. I've never come across any horse girls.
Never saw nothing about horse girls?
I went to school with a horse girl.
Did you?
Oh.
Yeah. You could barely hear her when she talked.
You son of a bitch bastard.
Sports on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
When he's playing the game he's playing right now, I think he's one of the top players in the NBA, and then you mix that in with the charisma and the personality he has, he's a huge boost for our locker room as well. So Anthony Edwards is special. I keep saying it, and he hates when I say it, but he's going to be the face of the NBA sooner than later.
Karl Anthony Towns talking about his teammate A1 from day one, saying he could be the face of the NBA. I've heard that said a time or two. What's his name again? Anthony doesn't seem to like it very much, but it
He'd be a great
embarrasses him.
representative. I love that kid.
Yeah, I like him a lot myself. Is it true in our show intro, Josh, there was a joke that I think the Saturday Night Live guys were telling jokes back and forth. Is it true that an 84-year-old woman wants to try out for the WNBA?
I guess so, yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I'd love to see the cardio there.
Dude, I would love to see that. That would be absolutely incredible. I ain't got too much to tell you here for this early version of our sports report. We got plenty of time to cover this and that, up and down with Brad Ryder and Randy Shaver a little bit later. Golden Gopher Basketball Club. They got boot-heeled in Lincoln, Nebraska last night. Final was 73-55. Nebraska's pretty good when they got their game going, and they whooped the Gophers' ass up and down. Illinois, they got to go play Illinois on Wednesday night. That's not going to be easy either. But I'm having a good time watching this club. Like I said, plenty more to go through when our fellas show up, Randy and Brad. We'll take a little break, but don't go anywhere because Josh's news is next.
Half-Assed Morning Show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act, they're a nuisance.
93X.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
Standard Heating is having their 94-year celebration. They have special offers just for you this February. Whether you need a new furnace or a tune-up, they have something special for everyone. Visit standardheating.com to save today.
You loved Lala Kent on Vanderpump Rules. Now get to know her on Give Them Lala.
We're going into Vanderpump Rules. Easton, you told me that Raquel is a little nervous. She talks about it on Rachel Goes Rogue, and she's a little nervous for her podcast to be airing while season 11 is airing. Let me tell you something. She should have come back to the show. It would have been very different than what she thinks it would have been. She shot herself in the foot. She's not the brightest bulb. We all know this.
Watch what Lala is talking about on YouTube or search for Give Them Lala wherever you listen.
Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
Highly irritates me and other law enforcement chiefs that are trying to keep the image of law enforcement being an honorable career, and then we have people like this.
Police departments across the country have been speaking out about swatting as a form of criminal harassment, which endangers innocent people as well as police officers. But apparently an Alabama officer doesn't think it's that serious. In fact, he thinks it's hilarious. which is why he's responsible for at least 6 of them. The Alabama police officer named Christopher Sansbury Jr. allegedly placed swatting calls to a police department while on duty with another department because, quote, he thought it was funny, said Prattville Police Chief Mark Thompson.
Jesus Christ.
The 2-year veteran of the Montgomery Police Department placed a half dozen calls to Prattville police over 3 months beginning in late October, including a claim of seeing a gunshot victim lying in a yard, among others.
Call about a male walking around leaving a blood trail. Another call about seeing a male run around with a machete, people laying in the street bleeding.
These falsely reported incidents were serious in nature and required a substantial amount of resources to respond to each call, as well as a considerable amount of investigative resources to be expended, Prattville Police said. Thompson said Sansbury admitted to placing the calls as a joke, one all the other cops don't find so amusing.
Point blank, honestly, it pissed me off. One statement was he thought it was funny.
Sansbury's reign of swatting terror may have even expanded well beyond Alabama, as officials are investigating whether he could be behind a string of fake reports made in Georgia, Wyoming, Massachusetts. It's unclear if the cops specifically targeted anyone with the calls, as typical with swatting incidents, but that's how the charges classified those phony reports.
Oh, that's good stuff. This guy was a cop?
Yeah, it's something they weren't expecting.
Is he 11 years old?
He's in his 20s.
Thought it was funny.
Yeah, I don't get it.
People lying, shot, dying in the street.
I mean, this is a guy that...
He's got different kind of a sense of humor.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Who you'd think would know a thing or two about something like this and realize how serious it was.
Oh, that's good.
I feel bad. I feel bad for his department and those other. They're embarrassed. Obviously, You got this rogue douchebag out there.
Yeah,
he's a butthole.
I needed that this morning, Josh. I did. That was good.
Breaking the law is wrong, and it's not too good of an idea to wear your work uniform while committing a crime. And then using your company vehicle is exceptionally dumb, especially when that work vehicle is a police squad car. And your work uniform is a police uniform with your name, department logo, and badge on it. But that's exactly what one Mississippi cop decided to do. Now fired Columbus officer Robin Connor was arrested by her colleagues for allegedly shoplifting shoes while on duty and in uniform. I hope it was worth it. Getting taken into custody in her own squad car. The 33-year-old was busted Wednesday at a Dick's Sporting Goods when an employee stopped her walking out in a $140 pair of tennis shoes. $140.
Dang.
Her police chief, Joseph Daughtry, said, "We're putting her in jail. It's embarrassing for the department, but we're going to treat her like we would anybody else," he said. In fact, the chief was among those who responded to arrest his own uniform-clad officer.
We have a job to do. We're held to a higher standard, and to take this gut punch really hurts. That's why we fulfilled our obligation, not only to the store, but to this community.
Connor was immediately placed on administrative leave, but the Columbus City Council voted unanimously Thursday to fire her.
It'd be a lot of fun, though, if you were also a cop in that town, Josh, and she was your least favorite coworker.
That would be fun.
For sure.
To show up and make that arrest.
That would be fun.
That would make your day.
In other shoplifting news, this time out of Florida, a man was arrested for exposing himself and shoplifting earlier this month. Robert Webb Jr. walked into their store around 5 minutes before closing and said it was cold outside and needed to warm up. They noticed after the man was wandering around the store for a few minutes, he had a bulge in his pants that wasn't there when he came in. An employee confronted Webb and told him to return what he had stuffed in his pants, so he took out 2 candles. She still saw a bulge, and when she asked him for the merchandise, he pulled down his pants, exposing his wig.
Oh, gross.
A Catholic priest in New Jersey is stepping down after being accused of shoplifting ice cream and oven mitts from a Walmart and then leading cops on a drunken chase.
Hey, man, aim high, you know what I mean? If you're going to steal something, go for it.
And in Ohio, a man was arrested after allegedly running through a neighborhood and sitting on a front porch while nude. The 51-year-old was charged with public indecency. Also turns out police had been looking for him after he went into a local restaurant naked. It's far from unheard of to have a vehicle potentially repossessed for lack of payment, but when those vehicles are cop cars in a Chicago suburb, that tends to stand out. Financial turmoil continued to unfold in South suburban Dolton last week after a bank said the village failed to make a payment worth tens of thousands of dollars, which may result in police cruisers and other public works vehicles being repossessed, believe it or not. Lawyers for KS State Bank said in a letter that repeated attempts to contact the village of Dalton have been ignored and promised to pay off. The promises for the payoffs have been broken. Chicago media previously uncovered exorbitant spending on lavish trips and expenses by self-proclaimed Dalton supermayor Tiffany Henyard.
Well, the consequences initially are life-threatening. She can blame whoever she wants, but the board did their job back in May and authorized payment. She's blocking payment.
The village wants transparency for residents as to where taxpayer dollars are going.
Well, the consequences initially are life-threatening. She can blame whoever she wants, but the board did their job back in May and authorized payment. She's blocking payment.
Back in May, she sounds very much from Chicago.
The bank letter didn't say when the repossessions could begin or if they would be halted if a payment is received.
A lot of shady cop stuff going on, Cubby.
Well, this isn't the cops on this case, but how weird is that the mayor allegedly isn't paying the bills and they might have to lose cop cars. That's good for public safety.
Yeah.
Deals on vehicles and jewelry throughout a U.S. government auction website were a steal in more ways than one. An Oklahoma man pleaded guilty to hacking into servers in Eagan in order to buy the vehicles and jewelry for $1 each. 41-year-old Evan Coker bid in multiple auctions conducted by General Service Administration, which sells excess equipment no longer needed by the government, as well as seized and forfeited items. His bids weren't unusual amounts, in the thousands of dollars. But when it came time to pay, he breached the website and falsified the true auction price to $1, the U.S. Attorney's Office said. All told, he bid on and won 19 auction items, fraudulently paying only $1 for a 2010 Ford Escape, a Ford F-550 pickup, and a Chevrolet box truck. He then tried to sell some of the ill-gotten items later.
Shady bastard.
Yeah, just at the last second.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I'd take a car for $1.
Pretty good deal.
Yeah.
I wouldn't buy yours for $1.
No, it's not worth $1.
Yeah,
I got a car when I was about 20 years old. I got a car for $10 and a case of beer.
That's a good deal.
Mm-hmm.
How long did it last you?
A couple of years.
Wow.
1977 AMC Gremlin. Got it from Iowa for $10 and a case of beer.
That's a great deal.
Mm-hmm.
I would assume it was stolen for that price.
We know people down there. We know Iowegians.
An Indiana man was arrested in Kentucky Wednesday after he allegedly tried to buy a Porsche from a dealership with a $78 million check. I don't know how this didn't work. And then he refused to leave when the check wasn't accepted. 21-year-old Connor Litka walked into the St. Matthews Porsche dealership with a $78 million check in hopes of buying a new Porsche. When employees refused to sell him the car, he refused to leave until they sold him the vehicle. Police said he attempted a similar thing the day before at a Land Rover dealership when he tried to buy a Land Rover with a $12 million check. Can you just cash it?
Yeah,
Give me the rest?
Did you get change?
It's one of these people who somehow have convinced themselves they are smarter than everyone else. It's just fascinating. And then they sit there like a little baby, stubborn and pouting that no one bought their nonsense. I love that stuff.
Then in Wisconsin, a group of teenagers believed to be from the Chicago area broke into a luxury car dealership and drove off with 9 vehicles worth more than $500,000. The heist earlier this month at a Jaguar Land Rover dealership was captured on surveillance cameras, showing 9 masked suspects filing into the store before each of them drove off in an expensive car. 6 of the 9 stolen vehicles were recovered, 4 in Chicago, 1 in a Chicago suburb, and 1 in Wisconsin after a highway crash that led to a 17-year-old's arrest.
Oh, man.
I've never heard of this type of theft ring. 2 men from Texas are facing felony charges after allegedly stealing nearly $20,000 worth of graphing calculators from stores in the Twin Cities. Is there a black market for graphing calculators?
I guess. Apparently. I remember those being so expensive.
Mm-hmm. I got to go ahead and say that I don't even know what a graphing calculator is. Never even heard of it.
According to court records, 23-year-old Zachary Finnenan and 30-year-old Antonio Griffin Jr. are accused of being part of a multi-state graphing calculator theft ring responsible for over $250,000 worth of stolen merchandise. Authorities say the enterprise is based out of Texas, and while the men were in Minnesota, they allegedly stole $20,000 worth of calculators. Law enforcement didn't say how many people may be involved in that calculator theft ring.
What do I do with one of those sumbitches, Cubby?
I don't know, trigonometry or something?
Really?
I don't know what you do with one of those.
No wonder it's not something I'm familiar with.
You'd probably just leave it in the packaging. I bet that's what you'd do with that.
You can play games on those. That was always fun in high school.
You can write boobs on it.
Yeah.
Classic.
Boobless.
Then a Minnesota man was sentenced Friday to 3 years in prison for his role in a local cell phone theft ring. Court records show the 27-year-old is one of 12 people who allegedly victimized over 40 people in a cell phone theft ring.
What the hell is a cell phone?
They would target folks leaving bars, sometimes taking the phones by force. The suspects then funneled the phones to a man creatively nicknamed the iPhone Man.
What?
Who would then sell the phones, sometimes international.
That's all they could come up with?
That's all they had.
The cell phone man?
The iPhone Man.
The iPhone Man. That's terrible.
Overall, the thefts are said to have cost more than $300,000.
That's a gross lack of creativity there.
Yeah, I don't know if they just were in a last-second situation and they needed to come up with that, but you're right. You think they could do better.
I'm also starting to think I'm the only person not in a theft ring.
It seems like there's quite a few of them. Mm-hmm. A man in the Virgin Islands is facing felony charges after reportedly approaching a woman to try and sell her a power inverter that he stole from a vehicle, which apparently he didn't know was her vehicle. Police were called to a car wash where they met the owner of a nearby mechanic shop. She told them a few days earlier someone had stolen items out of her SUV. On Valentine's Day, a man reportedly approached the woman and offered to sell her a power inverter, her power inverter. John Turnick Jr. not only admitted to trying to sell it, but also to being in possession of other items he had taken, including a speaker, flashlights, and a hammer.
That's my power inverter, she said.
That's right. She recognized it right away. A man injured in a car crash walked out of a Northern Virginia hospital where he was being treated and stole an ambulance while still in his hospital gown.
Oh.
Police were searching for one of 5 people injured when a stolen car crashed last Monday afternoon, police said, noting that guns and narcotics were later found in that vehicle. A man who had been a passenger in the crashed car, but who hadn't been discharged yet from the hospital, walked out in a medical gown with an IV still in his arm and then made off with an ambulance.
Attention Division 7 units, look out for a stolen ambulance taken from Fairfax Hospital.
The ambulance was later found abandoned.
There he goes.
Meanwhile, in China, the aftermath of a 100-car pileup looks absolutely terrifying on camera. And yet it seems everyone survived the horrible ordeal somehow. Chinese state media posted the video, now all over social media, which showed a huge swath of cars rammed into one another at odd angles. One vehicle even resting atop several other vehicles at a near vertical angle.
It's like when the cops were chasing the Blues Brothers through Chicago.
Local police are saying everyone's pretty much just fine, only a few people with minor injuries. A recent bout of bad weather was the main reason behind the crash, as the country's been hit with blizzards and lots of rain.
You want to talk about a chain reaction? My damn.
You looking at the photo?
No, I haven't looked, but just your description was enough to where.
I think did you post that, Ashley, maybe last week?
I posted it today. It should be up.
Okay. A Long Island exterminator was arrested Thursday for allegedly filming a 19-year-old undressing on hidden camera that he set up intentionally spraying chemicals on her clothing. That's how he got her naked.
Oh, gross.
Walter Rivas was hired by the teen to exterminate her apartment that afternoon, police said. He was spraying the home with a solution to get rid of pests when some of the chemicals accidentally got onto the young woman's clothes.
Oh, no.
So he instructed her to immediately change, stating the chemicals are poisonous and harmful.
The technician touched the female victim's clothing and then advised her, this is a dangerous pesticide. You need to immediately remove your clothes, including your underwear.
As she was changing into clean clothes in her bedroom, the teen noticed a bucket on her bed with a hole in it. Upon a closer look, she found a cell phone inside the bucket that was on and actively recording.
I felt bad. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to react.
I'm in shock of what happened.
What the hell is the matter with you?
It's awful.
Detectives working on the case are asking others who believe they may have been filmed to contact police. I'd imagine there's probably way too many of them. A man was arrested last week after he threatened to shoot 3 landscapers he was mad they were parking in front of his home. Florida deputies responded shortly before 10 a.m. Tuesday after receiving reports about the man brandishing a firearm. Investigators said they discovered the man, identified as 68-year-old Charles Calhoun, had come out of his home nearby and yelled at the workers, "Get the F out of my driveway."
Oh, my God.
Although witnesses said the men weren't in his driveway. An argument ensued, leading to Calhoun pulling a handgun from his waistband and pointing it at each of the three men. The landscapers agreed to move their truck, and Calhoun walked back to his own vehicle and drove around the block a couple of times, giving a thumbs up to the victims each time he passed.
That's kind of weird, huh?
Yeah.
Deputies said they later found Calhoun after he returned home, and he told detectives he was sorry for his actions.
I'm sorry.
My bad, he may have said. You still have time to pick up the Tee It Up golf card, number 3, our final card for 2024. Golf 7 area courses and save 200 bones, 200 big ones. You can get yours at 93x.com by using the keyword golf. Let's see. Zendaya, Austin Butler, and Kings of Leon on Jimmy Fallon tonight. David Spade on Jimmy Kimmel. Timothy Chalamet joins Stephen Colbert, and Amy Poehler and Fred Armisen are on Seth Meyers. Congratulations to Ben and Jordan for passing Firefighter 1 test this weekend from CF Feed Hauling Jesus. Happy birthday to our pal Snot Rocket Jesus from Swingin' D Hammer Jesus.
Well, she got to be like 70 by now.
43, you
what
jerk.
The hell?
43. That's 93X News.
KARE 11's Randy Shaver.
On the Half-Assed Morning Show.
Delorier and Rempe sizing each other up. This started in warm-up. You don't see many of these anymore. Oh, you don't. I was just thinking that, reminiscent of the old days in this rivalry. Matter of fact, Ray, I don't remember the last time I've seen a scrap like that in an NHL game. And the crowd is going crazy.
Let's go over the ground rules. Rule number 1, no touching of the hair or face. And that's it!
There they are. We got the Ass Man and the Lonely Boy, fresh off a rock star weekend, I'm sure, right, boys?
Absolutely. Hello?
Any sign of Brad Ryder out there?
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, you know, he lost on lost on Friday, didn't want to come back.
Oh, geez.
Can everybody hear us? Randy Shaver and Brad Ryder.
Certainly.
Good morning, yes.
It's nice to have the both of you with us this morning. Wonderful Monday morning. Going to be 65 some odd degrees today.
Yeah.
You guys going to get out, Brad? You going to get on the jet ski? Randy, you going to get out the golf clubs? What's going on with the nice weather? You going to?
I wish I could.
No.
Yeah.
You don't have time for such a.
I got to work. Work's
work, too.
always getting in the way.
It does. Yeah. It kills social lives at times.
By the way, I agree with the intro there. Some folks are calling this the hockey fight of the year. These days, normally a couple guys just slap each other in the half shield and then they wrestle each other to the ground and then the crowd goes crazy as if they saw a fight when they really didn't. But in this case, who were these guys? One guy from the, the Flyers, one guy from the Rangers. The helmets came off. They actually landed punches. Is that up on our website?
Yes, it is.
That's one to watch. And I agree with the announcer. He said it reminds me of the old days. That fight did remind me of the old days.
Those guys can take and give punches, that's for sure. A few haymakers in there.
One hell of a deal. All right, here we go. Firing things up. A lot of different kinds of records or near records or impressive statistics to dump on you this morning. Well, Brad doesn't want to be reminded of last week's dad fight, but it's kind of like the subject matter from last week's dad fight.
Yeah.
Records, near records, impressive statistics. Remember that, Brad? Last week's dad fight?
Sure, I remember.
Nikola Jokic made history, as they call it, last night. I suppose you could call it history. During the Denver Nuggets victory over the Golden State Warriors, he had 32 points, 16 assists, 16 rebounds. He passed LeBron James for the 4th most career triple-doubles in NBA history.
Wow.
So go ahead. Who are the 3 guys he's got to pass yet before he turns number 1, the Joker? Who does he got to pass on the triple-double list?
I would say Oscar Robertson.
That's one of them.
I would say Russell Westbrook.
That's the other.
How about Magic Johnson?
And Magic Johnson.
There you go.
Nikola Jokic has 139 triple-doubles in 719 regular season and playoff games. LeBron James, this is kind of crazy. 138 triple-doubles, but it took LeBron 1,753 total games to get there. that throws me, really, that it's that Jokic got there so much quicker. And I guess there could be some comments about the position that they play, the style of basketball that's played today as opposed to when LeBron first joined the league. I don't know. You guys go ahead if you think.
Well, LeBron probably might get another few before he's done. Who knows? But he probably won't get him at the pace that Jokic is.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
The pace is the notable part of that stat. So Jokic needs 15 more games where he messes around and gets a triple-double to move past Magic for third on the NBA list of all-time leaders. Yeah,
impressive.
I watched a little bit of his game last night. I think the Denver Nuggets are going to be real friggin' trouble in the playoffs.
Yeah, they're starting to kind of figure some things out.
They're going to be trouble.
They have been up and down, I would say, over the last couple of months. But they're starting to get completely healthy now. Jamal Murray is starting to really figure some things out. And the team, to me, is Oklahoma City. That's the team that I'm impressed with the Timberwolves. Don't get me wrong. They've done some great things this year. And they're going to be a team to watch when the playoffs begin. But Oklahoma City, to me, right now, is playing at a pretty high level consistently.
I talked to a friend of mine at the league who I still stay in touch with a little bit last week, and I mean, obviously he wouldn't want this attributed to him, but he thinks around the league, people are obviously very impressed with what the Timberwolves and the Thunder have done, but also around the league, they kind of feel like when push comes to shove in May, it'll be the Nuggets, Clippers, and maybe even Suns, because those teams know how to win in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Randy Shaver loves Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and he loves that Colt McIntosh, the kid that came from town.
Chet
Holmgren, yes.
Yeah. Colt McIntosh.
Remember how Randy used to swing from Joel Embiid's jock?
I still do.
He switched hands. He let go of Joel Embiid's jock, and now he's got a death grip on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's jock, and you're just swinging.
I think he's a fantastic player.
He is a fantastic player. I'm just busting your chops. A girls' high school basketball player messed around and got a quintuple double.
That's impressive.
That is impressive.
That's up on 93x.com.
Where is she from?
She's from New York. Summers. Okay. Summers in New York. Okay, I have it here. Fonda Fultonville High School. And her name is Kiana Christmas? Really?
Huh.
Is her dad's name Lloyd? Her name is Kiana Christmas. So the other night, there she is playing girls' high school basketball. And she was able to go ahead with 11 points, 20 rebounds, 11 assists, 10 steals, and 10 blocks.
Oh, my.
Jeez Louise.
That's impressive.
What was the final score of that game?
55-50.
Oh, it was a close game.
That might mean the rest of her teammates could use a little more practice.
Well, yeah, I was thinking it was one of those 84-13 high school games or something.
No, that's what I thought it would be too, Brad Ryder. So that her teammates might need a little practice. Apparently, according to someone called Max Preps, she's just the 13th high school player to record a quintuple
double.
F me running. Who's the only, at least it's widely believed, the only NBA player to put up a quintuple double in a game? Go!
Chamberlain?
That's right. You guys are good. Way better than you were on Friday.
Oh, come on. I always like to let Brad feel like he's in the game.
Oh, okay.
That's nice.
Don't you think? I mean,
Sure.
That's
been a
very
pattern.
nice of you, Randy.
Yeah.
That's sportsmanship.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, and I always like to, make sure that you feel like you're a part of it too. Since I won season 2, I didn't want you to. I didn't want to get off.
There was no season 2.
Yes, there was. I didn't want to get off to too hot of a start this year. And then make you feel like you weren't a part of the show.
This is not a Netflix series. You didn't win season 2.
Yes, I did.
Good sportsmanship, Brad.
Yeah. So I want to make sure you feel like you're a part of the game.
According to a stat keeper, and when did the NBA really start keeping serious stats. I don't know, but according to some nerd with a pen and paper at an NBA game on March 18th, 1968, Wilt Chamberlain racked up 53 points, 32 rebounds, 14 assists, 11 steals, and this is the part, 24 blocks over the course of a basketball game.
Well, back in those days, he was the man. And there was nobody Bill Russell was 6'9". He did not physically match up against Chamberlain. Great players, both of them, but
he put up a great fight, Bill Russell did.
Yeah.
How do you say it again, Josh? Wembanyama? He said Wembanyama?
I've got the guy talking about it. I can tell you in a second.
Victor Wembanyama.
Wembanyama?
I've never heard of this. I've never heard of anyone mention this particular stat. A 5x5.
So Victor Wembanyama with the first 5x5 game in the NBA since Yusuf Nurkic, January 1st of 2019.
All right, here's what that means.
Okay.
And I watch basketball all the time. I've never heard anyone say, boy, he's close to getting a 5. I guess it's that rare. That rare. That's where a player records at least 5 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 5 blocks, and 5 steals in a game.
Okay. So halfway to a quintuplet or whatever you called it originally. Yes.
Right. Wembanyama did this Friday night playing the LA Lakers. He had 27 points, 10 rebounds, 8 assists, 5 steals, 5 blocks. Like I said, it was a weekend of records, near records, impressive stats. Okay.
Wembanyama?
Wembanyama is how you say it. Not even done yet. Now we go to baseball. Oh, and that college baseball. A starting pitcher for Arkansas University. He goes by the name of Hagen Smith. Hagen is the first name. Used to be a last name. Now I guess it's a first name. He went on a historic strikeout spree in a game on Friday. He pitched 6 scoreless innings. Brad Ryder, I bet you never even did this. He recorded 17 of 18 outs by way of strikeout.
Wow.
I came close one time.
How close did you come?
No, I'm dead serious.
I'm listening, Brad. Don't let these people...
In 6 innings, I had 13 one time.
The rest of these people don't take you seriously, Brad, but I do.
I know you do, Nick.
I do.
Appreciate that.
I know you were a terrific high school athlete. Everyone, as soon as Brad starts talking, I hear Dana go, this is a serious athlete here, Dana.
My apologies, Brad.
6 innings, you had 13 strikeouts?
Yeah.
See? Show a little respect.
Three-time 212 conference, all conference.
For the Clara City War Horse or whatever the hell they call it.
The War Horses.
We were the Blackhawks, and then when we combined with Raymond, we became the Cavaliers.
How many kids did that add into the mix when you combined with Raymond? 7 or 8?
Did you just get Raymond and that was it?
No, well now, see, now
you
I
just
owe them
got Raymond, right?
Raymond showed up.
They're McRae now. They're
McRae.
Maynard, Clare City, and Raymond. So they're McRae now.
When Raymond added in, it was just one family that lived outside of town?
2 or 3, yeah. 2 or 3, yeah.
That's good.
This dude from Arkansas, 17 of 18 outs were strikeouts, and that ties an Arkansas record. He had 9 consecutive strikeouts to start the game.
Wow.
That tied another.
I could do that as a batter, I bet. Nobody talks about that stat.
I will quantify my 13, though. The team we played was awful.
Were they?
Yeah, they were terrible.
I didn't want to ask, but...
No, they were bad. Danube. If anybody's from Danube, you guys were awful.
My God.
You don't want to get the people from Danube on that.
Yeah, that's like Pine City. Don't do that.
Mid to late 80s, they couldn't field a decent baseball team?
No.
What the hell was going on over there?
I don't know. They weren't very good.
They couldn't hang on to baseball bats and baseballs, but I bet they could fondle the hell out of a teat in Danube. You know what I mean?
It's some tall farm kids. They had good basketball, but not baseball.
They could squeeze some milk, but not so much the baseball bat.
Nope.
This is a hell of a deal. So there you go. I think that's all the records. All right, so go ahead. This is the big. I think that's all the records we had to cover. Go ahead, you guys, because the big argument these days, especially after this weekend, is storming the court. We need to ban storming the court at basketball games because a kid from Duke sprained his ankle.
Well, he got run over.
Because he tried to trip the fan?
Thank you, Brad Ryder. I thought I was the only one who noticed that.
No, you weren't the only one who saw that.
You can see it clear as day. He tries to trip him and then pushes
And then
off of him.
he fails, and then he acts like he got hurt.
Dork.
Absolutely, but this is the big conversation now. Earlier this year, Caitlin Clark got run over. A lot of folks say she took a dive. Now, the other day, Duke got beat by Wake Forest. The Wake Forest kid stormed the court, and a Duke player sprained his ankle. Did you see the reaction from Duke's coach?
I did not.
I did.
He reacted as if this kid was stabbed by a machete. But it's Duke, they're better than the rest of us. So anyway, there's nothing but conversation the last day and a half now. We have to completely ban storming the court. Now, keep in mind, if a college women's basketball player that no one had ever heard of had been run over, and then a kid from Wichita State or something on the men's side would have been run over, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But since it's a Duke player and Caitlin Clark, now we have to ban everything. So,
well, good luck trying to figure out how you're going to do that.
Yeah.
Because unless you line the court all the way around with police officers, you're not going to be able to stop 12,000 people from, jumping out of their seats to go run on the court.
Right.
It's like this conversation we had a few weeks ago about fining people for bad behavior with, officials. How are you going to enforce it? It's a good idea. How are you going to enforce it?
Oh, what you mean is that there was some conversation a couple weeks ago where at youth athletic events you fine parents.
Yeah, it's a good idea, but how are you going to do it?
Right.
Has anyone here ever stormed a court or a field?
No.
I don't think so.
I bet you have.
Well, sure Dana has.
In high school.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess, in high school. I wasn't thinking of high school.
I don't remember. We threw a hamburger at the St. Louis Blues goaltender in the 1991 playoffs.
Threw a hamburger.
And it almost hit him.
That's pretty cool.
My God.
Vincent Riendeau.
We threw a hamburger.
Yeah.
How many people can say that?
I hit Bob Johnson in the back of the head with a tennis ball. Badger Bob, the coach of the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Shame on you. That's not nice.
Hit him right. And from the upper deck, I hit him in the back of the head with a tennis ball because I was upset that the North Stars were defeated by the Penguins in the Stanley Cup final. Remember how Bob Johnson used to put out the Ronnie Francis line against the Bob Smith line back in those days? I don't think I ever stormed a court. I can't remember. Gosh. No, I don't think so. I have no reason why. So the current penalty is what? They might lose scholarships or something? Is that the... Does anyone have the answer to that?
They're talking about fining schools. I mean, the SEC actually does fine schools for field storming in football. I know that. So they're talking about fines to the schools. I saw somewhere written, too, that they're thinking about charging all the people who do, I don't know how you do that.
Right. What do you mean, arresting them? Everyone who storms?
Criminal, misdemeanor charges against everybody who does it. But again, how are you going to do that?
Right.
I don't know. Yeah, it's silly. But yeah, that was cute, where the Duke guy sticks his leg out to trip and then, oh God, my ankle. Oh, it's not my fault. Oh, I don't even know what happened. I was just standing here. Oh. I don't know what they're going to do, boys. But there you go. All right. Caitlin Clark coming to town, right, shortly for the Big Ten tournament.
Yep.
Yeah.
And while she's here, she could end up breaking Pistol Pete Maravich's all-time scoring record. College basketball, men, women, doesn't matter.
Yeah. Decent possibility.
They got a couple games left, the Iowegian ladies basketball team, then they come here for the Big Ten tournament. She has 74 points to go if she wants to tie Pistol Pete. He set that record in 1970. So it says here she needs to score at least 37 points a game in her next 2 games. She averages 32. So there you go. Pistol Pete Maravich. My damn. Died so young, didn't he?
He did.
He did.
Playing pickup basketball.
Heart problem. Wasn't it a heart problem?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'll be damned.
That's why the women's tournament is sold out.
Yeah, because of Caitlin Clark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And are the men's selling any tickets? Are those tickets? Because I'd like to go.
I think the
tickets are so. We covered this.
Are
the tickets
the
are
men
ridiculous.
sold out too?
I don't know.
I don't think they are. I mean, I'm sure the tickets are going well, but I don't think they're sold out. I just saw the women's was sold out.
We talked about it last week. The tickets are so expensive. It's just a friggin'
It is.
It's a shame.
Yeah, if you want the whole weekend pass, it gets pretty spendy.
What do you mean? So it's not that bad if I want to go see one game?
Yeah, you can buy them session by session as well.
Well, what is it for one game? Let's say I just want to go see the Golden Gophers play one game.
I'll take a
The problem is you don't know when the Golden Gophers are going to play yet.
Yeah.
No, but I can act quick. You know what I mean? I can.
Unfortunately, it may only be one game.
Yeah, it could be. I don't got any babies or anything. I don't got to line up babysitters. I just get in the car and go.
Also, part of the reason why the Timberwolves are home for the next 5 games because they're going to get kicked out of Target Center for 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
For the high school tournament. Oh, no, for the Big Ten.
For the women and men.
Right, I forgot they're playing.
They're on the road that whole time.
Golden Gophers, see if you can look that up, Dana, for one game.
Mm-hmm.
Golden Gophers got just boot healed last night in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Yeah, it's
Golden
too bad.
Gopher dudes team. They got cornhole.
Nebraska's pretty good.
Yeah, they are.
I mean,
They
especially I know this at home because they've got the great record and everything, but they're pretty good. They play pretty tough.
Yeah, their defense was absolutely terrific last night.
I don't know how far they'll go in the tournament, but they're pretty decent.
Garcia and Payne and Christie couldn't get going at all last night because Nebraska's defense was great. Though last night's version of the Nebraska Cornhuskers could play with anybody. They were very good. It was a whooping. And now Golden Gophers go play at Illinois. And if you follow college basketball, you know how easy that is.
Right.
That's a tough team and a tough building.
I think the Gophers' chances of making the tournament actually ended last night. I just don't. They might if they were somehow able to run the table, which I don't think is going to happen. They'll be fine. I just think the schedule ahead of them is just not conducive for that.
They're probably not going to win at Illinois, and then they're probably going to have to win their last 3 and make some sort of run to maybe the championship game or something like that.
They can always make a run in the tournament.
They could, sure.
2 pumps and a squeeze, Jesus. Texted in, he stormed the field 2 years in a row at the Johnny Tommy game.
Oh, yeah, sure.
And he wants Tommy's fans to suck it. St. John, St. Thomas. He stormed the field. Okay, that's one.
Depending on the session you want to go to, they range from everywhere from about $10 to $200.
Oh, for Christ's sake, I got $10.
What if he wants to bring 2 of his friends?
Oh, no! Okay, how much would it be if it's $10? How much if I want to bring 2 of my friends?
Well, it depends on how good a friend you're bringing.
It would be about $30
Yay!
to bring 2 friends.
Yay! What else is going on around here? Am I talking about Pistol Pete from across the street? No, Pistol Pete Maravich.
Pistol Pete from across the street.
Were they comparable athletes?
Pistol Pete from across the street was a pretty good. Of course, that's Catfishing Jesus texting in. I believe that's Catfishing Jesus asking me that question. Pistol Pete from across the street was my very first best friend. And then you got Pistol Pete Maravich, the all-time great basketball player. I can see where you got confused. Yeah, Pistol Pete from across the street was a good athlete. Unfortunately, he really liked soccer.
Oh.
And that was kind of a...
That was a non-starter for you.
Yeah.
Loser.
We'll always be tight. I mean, he'll always be my first best friend, but there was some static between us because he chose to
Something
play.
you just can't see past.
I remember when we were kids, I was playing soccer with Pistol Pete from across the street in his backyard. And a bigger kid in the neighborhood kicked him in the nuts.
Oh.
On accident.
Ouch.
Bigger kid,
Was his name Draymond?
He wasn't that big. But, the bigger kid winds up to just boot the piss out of the soccer ball, and instead he kicked Pistol Pete from across the street right in the pills.
Aw, poor Pistol Pete.
And his nuts were so mangled that not only did Pistol Pete's mother take a look at him to find out whether or not they needed to go to the emergency room, but my mother also looked at Pistol Pete's nuts to make a final ruling on that. I didn't think that was right. But they did. They had 2 separate adult women look at his nuts to find out if he was going to live or die.
And then instead of Pistol Pete, he was Nerf Gun Pete.
You got a little ahead of yourself there, Brad. Got a little ahead of yourself. Didn't he, Randy?
He did.
That was weak.
Yes.
What the hell was that, Brad?
I wasn't going to say that, but you're right. It's weak.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Oh, here's a listener. Right. Wrestling Dad Jesus. His son stormed the court on Saturday at the Blooming Prairie Awesome Blossom Conference Championship game. Basketball? Must have been. They're playing basketball this time of year, right? Blooming.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Wrestling Dad.
Section tournaments.
I know a guy who grew up in Blooming Prairie. I know a guy who was an Awesome Blossom.
Yes. Best nickname in Minnesota.
Mm-hmm. He went on to play college football at the University of Minnesota, this guy. But that was back in the late 50s. Nobody gave a rat's ass. Well, actually, they were a terrific ball club. That was back when they used to go to the, to big ball games. Rose Bowl. I believe this guy was on that Rose Bowl team, but he got thrown off the team halfway through the year because him and the coach couldn't see eye to eye. So he could have been on that roster, but he wasn't. I believe that's the story. He's an old-timer. Drinks at the Legion there, Randy Shaver, where you wandered into a couple weeks ago.
I know.
Yeah. So everyone thought that Alex...
Hallowed ground.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Everyone thinks that Alex Rodriguez had a bad spray tan at the Wolves game. On, what was that? They played the Bucks on Friday night?
Yep.
Did you see the pictures of Alex Rodriguez?
I did not.
It didn't look good.
I'm going to look it up here.
They're up on our website, Ashley says. He says it wasn't a spray tan. He says, hell, I'm Dominican. I went out in the sun and I fell asleep and I got real dark.
It did look like a spray tan.
I'm really beginning to like Alex Rodriguez, really a lot. The more I see him interviewed and whatnot, I really like him. Anyone here got a problem?
Like him as a Wolves owner?
Well, that I wouldn't even know how to comment on that yet. I don't know what the hell he's doing.
Well, I mean, that's the only reason why he's here, right?
Well, of course.
So you wouldn't be saying this if he wasn't here as part of the Wolves ownership group.
Well, I wouldn't be saying this because if he wasn't here as part of the Wolves ownership, I probably wouldn't be seeing these constant videos of the guy. So I'm not sure where you're going with that. I'm just saying that the more I see of him, the more I like him.
Seems like a good dude.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have had interactions with him at Target Center, and they always have nothing but positive things to say, that he's always just very, affable, charming.
I mean, I didn't...
He's got a lot of businesses locally.
Does he?
Yeah, I didn't realize that. Does he run
a couple car washes or something? What's he got going on?
I was reading an article in Egan. Right next to me, there's an apartment building that he owns, or he's about to sell, or he just sold, something like that. And they listed a whole bunch of different businesses he's a part of. Wow. I had no clue he was that invested here.
I think the question on him has always been how real or legitimate is the niceness.
Right.
He's always been that way outwardly, I think.
Okay.
But I think that's always been the question, and I'm not judging. I'm just saying that's been the question.
No, I understand, and there are plenty of folks here in town who are still a little wary of, okay, what's he going to do with the Wolves once he gets full control, right. Or he and this other guy, whenever they get their control over the ball club, are they going to move him to Toronto or something? You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's still that element going around. I'm just saying, I didn't like him as a baseball player.
Yeah.
I thought he was kind of douchey and high maintenance type player, but the more I see of him, we got people texting in. Here's Pickle Rick. Come on, he cheated, referring to Alex Rodriguez. You're barking up the wrong tree there. I've never been one of these, he did steroids guys. I'm not that guy.
Get over it.
So, and what does that have to do with the way he's operating now?
Right.
You can't hang on to that forever.
Doesn't. Yeah.
Does it? You can't hang on to that forever. But it did look like a bad spray tan. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm looking at it. He either got really sunburned pretty uniformly, or he has a bad spray tan.
I had that once. I had a bad spray tan once.
I've never done it. It's always scared me.
Yeah, me neither.
I really liked it, but I couldn't do it more than once. I just looked so silly.
What scared you, Ashley? Just that it would turn out bad?
Turning out bad or too orange, oompa loompa-y.
Yeah, that can happen.
A buddy of mine's dad used to do like the rub-on stuff, and that was terrible. His hands and up by his hairline, it looked so bad.
Yeah, it always gets. You can always tell in girls because like the inside of their fingers will be orange.
I tried that once in high school. It was a disaster.
What happens when you sweat? Doesn't it come off?
I've always wondered the same thing. I've been too afraid to ask.
I don't think so, Brad Ryder, because I got a spray tan job, and I just thought I was gorgeous. I was absolutely. I couldn't believe. I thought, okay, I'm coming in to do this every day.
I know with like the rub-on stuff, I'm not sure if it is the same for spray tans, but you're not allowed to like shower or do anything like to. I guess that would make you sweat too much.
No problem on either of those for me. I'm good.
Yeah, you got to hold off on showering and don't, whatever. Sure.
No working out or whatever.
I got the spray tan, and I was so in love with my appearance, even more so than usual. But the problem was, a couple days later, one day later, I think, and I got this, because I've been pasty white my whole friggin' life. I had this golden, bronzy look, and I went to beer league hockey. And I got into the locker room and, started taking my clothes off to get my gear on. And my beer league teammate said, okay, what the hell is this? You look like an idiot. And so I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it because my buddies would have kept kicking me in the nuts over it. But, I was one sexy son of a bitch. Here, let me show you the photos I have on my phone, Josh.
Let me see that.
Look at that.
That's you?
That's my wiener.
Wow. Oh, my God.
I thought you were elephant hunting for a second.
Don't get all crazy, Randy. I didn't show him a picture. I showed him pictures of yours, not mine. Did that MMA guy win this fight over the weekend?
Oh, I forgot to follow up on that. Dang.
You guys follow the MMA? Do you follow Bellator PFL? Do you know what that is?
Oh,
I don't know.
Can't say that I do.
I'm going to take a stab and guess that it means Bellator Professional Fighting League. But here's the deal. There was a fighter signed up to fight this weekend. He goes by the name of Johnny Eblen. And this was a big fight for Johnny. His model girlfriend threatened to dump him if he loses his fight.
Oh, no.
So we got to find this out.
How do you think he's going to do?
I think he's going to kick.
And what if he loses?
Then I'm out.
Oh, just like that? You're out?
Mm-hmm.
If he loses?
Yeah.
Okay, even though he just spent $85,000 on you?
He has to win.
Looks like he did win.
All right.
Well, you know what I'd do if I was him? I would win, and then I'd walk down to her and say, we're done.
That's what you'd do if you were Johnny Eblen.
Yep.
You should look at her before you make that determination.
Is she again? I can't remember.
She's one of the gazillion Instagram models that act like they're just the hottest thing that ever happened. Her name is Jacinia Rebecca.
What in the?
You could have done better than that with that fake stage name. But anyway, and who knows if this was all just clickbait so she can make another $1 billion.
I'm sure, yeah.
But she said she would dump him if he loses his fight, even though he recently spent $85,000 on her during Valentine's Day. If any of that is true.
$85,000. Wow. I wonder what her birthday's like.
And then she got a bunch of backlash on Instagram. But it's probably all that's exactly what she was looking for.
Yeah, probably.
I have more quotes from this lady. So get ready to hear how stupid, shallow morons talk, if in fact you haven't already experienced that kind of thing. She said, and I love this because she acts like she's teaching us all, the rest of us morons, she's teaching us all some deep life lesson. Since when was being honest wrong?
Oh, shut up.
Do you think if I stopped being attractive, he would be with me? No. He likes me because I'm attractive, and I like him because he's a champion. Either one of us can get dumped if we lose the thing that the other found attractive. Let's start being honest in 2024.
They're going to last so long.
Boy, that relationship's got a chance to last.
All right, so he won. So he can keep his Instagram girlfriend.
That's so pathetic.
It always sucks.
Well,
when
the good thing about that MMA is you don't fight every week, so he's going to keep her for a while.
That's a good point, Randy.
Josh knows the pain of having little arguments with his girlfriend. I hate that when my girlfriend puts little, what's the word I'm looking for, little stipulations on a relationship. That's just the beginning of the conversations I could have about me and my girlfriend. Social media snatched up another moron. The Arizona Coyotes are terminating the contract of a player named Adam Ruzicka. I think I have the pronunciation correct. Okay. This is the guy played a little while with Calgary, and then they put him on waivers, and then, the Coyotes picked up his contract. He played a few games, but now they've thrown him out. He put a video on social media showing him with a white powder appearing to be cocaine and a credit card on a counter.
Oh, yeah.
Like he's chopping up some blow.
That's smart.
Always check your photos before you post them.
Check them for cocaine?
Yeah.
I hate when my cocaine gets in the photos I post.
Especially if you know you're doing cocaine that day.
He likely knew he was going to do cocaine that day.
I would assume so.
Yeah, I got plans to do cocaine later, so I've got to be smart about what photos I post.
Yeah.
He likely, is it a day off? Yes. Well, then I'm going to do some cocaine. Yeah, so look for him to maybe play in the American Hockey League for a while or something like that. Chicago Blackhawks retired Chris Chelios' number 7 sweater last night. What a douchebag. No, he was a great player. But I was taught to hate Chicago Blackhawks, and so that's how I've come off the majority of my life.
A Chris Chelios poster kept us out of some trouble back when we were in middle school.
You know what? I don't want to hear any more about that story. I'm just going to imagine.
Okay.
No, you got to tell us. A Chris Chelios poster kept you out of trouble in middle school.
We were horsing around my buddy's basement, and somebody got tackled into the sheetrock wall, so their butt was basically in the wall, and we just moved a Chris Chelios poster about 3 feet to the right and covered up the hole with it.
Dude.
His parents did not realize it for years, and then by that point, it was just funny.
I did the same damn thing, roughly, with a Paul Stanley poster.
Nice.
My brother and I got into a violent fist fight in our basement when we were about 18 or 19, and he took a wild swing at me. I ducked, and he punched his entire arm through our parents' storage room door.
Oh, gosh.
Now, as you might imagine, while his arm was stuck in that door, I went to town on that son of a bitch.
Oh, I bet.
I was like when Rocky Balboa went after Apollo Creed's abs in there.
Body blow after body blow.
I was just crushing his ribs. And then when he got his arm out, then I got killed. But this hole was so massive in the door, and we didn't have the interest, being dick, selfish kids, we didn't even care to repair it for real. Mm-hmm. I just put a Paul Stanley poster over it. Folks never do it. They never knew what happened,
yeah,
Randy.
It's a beautiful thing.
Big event today in California. NFL defensive lineman Joey Bosa is participating in the 2nd annual Wonderful Pistachios Get Crackin' Pistachio Eating Championship.
I don't think it'll be much of a competition, if I'm being honest. I think he's probably going to run away with it. My main goal is to not choke and die on a pistachio in front of a bunch of people. If I can accomplish that, then it's a win in my book.
Boy, he sounds really intelligent.
Sounds a little tired or something.
Joey Bosa will be going up against Josh's favorite athlete, Joey Chestnut, in this pistachio eating competition. And like you heard him say, he just doesn't want to choke and die.
Yeah, gosh. I suppose there's a real chance that could happen.
Yeah.
You're stuffing your mouth full of those things.
You got to know what
they're so good, though.
I love pistachio nuts.
Me too.
Mm-hmm. You know what else? I like cashew nut.
Those are my 2 favorite.
That's my favorite. Expensive, though, both of them.
Yeah.
God dang, we got all kinds of people who have covered up holes in their walls with posters. Here's a guy or a gal who put a high heel through her wall, and she covered it up with a Magic Johnson poster.
High heel.
That's a pretty high heel.
Maybe
she poster.
She threw it
Maybe
at
she
somebody.
threw it.
Somebody threw it at her.
Exactly.
Threw it at somebody, yeah.
Keg stand or something.
Yeah.
Cartwheel.
Here we go. Hey, Nick and Josh, you better bring up Cam Newton getting into a fight at a youth football event.
Oh, yeah. Little 7-on-7 tournament.
Well,
that was weird.
But what are we doing here? He looked like he got attacked.
I think they jumped him. Yeah.
He got jumped.
That's what I read, at least.
That's up on 93x.com.
Yeah, I don't even know what happened there, and there's no real explanation as to what happened. Just Cam Newton's hanging around at a youth football tournament, and some idiots started punching him. I mean, I know where the listener's going with it. They assume that Randy's going to,
I'm not going to say anything.
Yeah, Randy's going to jump on board.
The guy got jumped.
Yeah. So there you go. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. This is really interesting.
Did they want his hat?
He was wearing, was he not wearing a hat with a hole in the top of it so his hair could pour out?
Yes, his hair was straight out of it.
Man, he's just out there being adorable.
And not a visor. Not a visor. Right? It was like I
guess.
A hat with a hole in the top so his hair could shoot out. I loved it. I'd love to have a hat just like that. I wouldn't be able to produce.
You'd love to have the hair like that.
I wouldn't be able. Like I said, I wouldn't be able to produce like Cam can, but I'd give my hair the option. Former twin Carlos Gomez is attempting to qualify for this summer's Olympic Games in the sport of Randy Shaver, Brad Ryder.
Cycling.
You dick, you saw the story.
I did.
Cycling. Apparently he can ride the hell out of a bicycle.
I always enjoyed that guy.
Go.
He was fun.
Mm-hmm. You never knew what to expect with him at any given moment.
No.
I like when he would smell the bat.
Yes, exactly.
He would smell his baseball bat before he took it up to the plate.
Does he have a legitimate chance to make the Olympics?
What do I know? But it says
I didn't read
here,
the story past the headline.
if he wins a qualifying race scheduled in May, he could have the chance to represent the Dominican Republic in what they call here the 500-meter velodrome bicycle race at the Olympics.
Wow.
And he's training his nuts off.
Huh.
Supposedly he's one of the best in the Dominican Republic, so maybe
I
he's
was
got
about
a
to
chance.
say, because he's trying to qualify in that country, he may have a chance. Because I don't think they're probably known for that there.
I don't know one way or the other what the hell they're into in the Dominican Republic as far as bicycle races go, but apparently Gomez is eating 7,000 calories a day. Is that a lot?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's quite a bit.
I know nothing about calories. He's eating 7,000 calories a day to make up for the weight he loses during his intense training.
Wow.
That's probably at least like 3 times the amount that you eat, Nick. So
That's 3
imagine
times
that.
what I eat?
Yeah, probably.
Well, you're
You
not
probably
throwing
eat, like,
beer
2.
in there, Ashley.
What about my Steve
yeah.
Weisers?
Oh, I forgot about the beer.
I like to clean out a lot of damn Steve Weisers.
It's about 5 trips to Chipotle every day.
Really?
I would guess
How do you
so.
guys know calories? That's something I don't understand. How do you?
I try to keep track.
I've always been fascinated by someone who can look at a meal and, number one, tell me what it's made of.
Oh,
and
Every
tell
place,
me-
every place has the calories up on the menus
Right.
now.
Yeah, they do.
So it's
Listed.
pretty easy to see.
It's so depressing.
Yeah, it is actually very depressing.
I've mentioned this before, where I'll have a plate of potatoes or someone in front of me, and someone will say, "Well, that's a lot of carbs." How do you know that?
Right.
Was there a health class that I missed or something?
They taught us in school.
How do you know what food has proteins and carb? I missed that day.
More experience, I guess, than anything.
If Gomez makes the damn, how do you call it, the Olympics, it will be in the Masters category for competitors aged 33 to 40. And they say his lower body is like a damn plow mule.
I'll bet.
Just strong as... Jesus Christ, enough of this already. Adrian Peterson says he's open to play in the NFL again.
I wouldn't say I'm game ready right now, but
Enough.
I'm always open to get out there and play again, man. You know, so we'll see what happens.
Stop it.
In other news, Dana Wessel is open to dating Anna Kendrick.
Wembayami?
It's Wembayami. That's where we've moved on to Wembayami. We don't
Yes.
care anymore, dude, that you're ready to play football at 47 years old.
We're sorry you need the money to pay for your children, but yeah, we've moved on.
It's Wembayami's time.
I'm sure the USFL or whatever the new league is might have some interest.
Oh, yeah. I bet you're right.
Oh, that would be fun.
But they don't pay like the NFL.
No.
I'll be damned.
Not the type of money to get to rent an elephant for your birthday party.
That's correct.
Isn't it the USXFL?
Whatever it is.
Because they've combined. I believe I'm right about that. Whatever it is. You're so disrespectful. You're a disrespectful person. This was cute. Fantasy football punishments. They can be fun. And there was video going around over the weekend of a big-time pitcher for the Toronto Blue Jays. He's a relief pitcher. His mother named him Tim Meza. And because he finished last amongst his teammates' fantasy football league this year, he served as the bat boy for one of their spring training games.
See, that's a fun deal.
It was.
And they made a jersey for him with his record on the back.
4 and 10. 4 and 10.
4 and 10.
That's
good. Yeah, it was pretty funny. That's a great punishment.
Mm-hmm. Running up and down, fetching bats, sitting next to a kid who's 12, out in the sun, getting the hell beaten out of him by the sun.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I dug it. When did the bat boy turn into the Batman?
It's been that way for a while with certain clubs.
Maybe in the last 25 some odd years, because I noticed when I watch baseball games, when I watch Twins games at the park, the bat boy now is like a 27-year-old.
A lot of them are college-age kids or
college age, or even a little older.
Yeah.
What happened? Did a kid get hit in the nuts with a bat, and now they don't, take a chance?
They ask those kids to do so much more than just get bats. So I think they give them more responsibility in the clubhouse.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, they're running errands for players.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Stuff.
Running errands?
Oh, yeah.
What are you talking about?
For sure.
Yeah, the bat boys, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, explain.
3-4 hours before the game, a couple players will say, "Hey, go get us a couple Jimmy Johns or something."
Oh, I thought you were talking about during the game. A player's like, "Hey, man, go get me a can of Copenhagen."
My dry cleaning's ready.
Right.
Okay. So they become kind of a clubhouse bitch.
A little bit, yeah.
Not trying to be mean. That's the only term I can come up with.
Oh, I'm sure they're getting tipped. Yeah. I'm sure they're getting paid.
Oh, sure. Oh, yeah. They make decent money.
Were you ever a bat boy, Dana? You strike me as the type that would sign up for that when you're 31 years old or something like that.
No, but it sounds like fun. I'll go to Jimmy John's for some players.
My son, when he was little, bat boyed for Gopher baseball for 4 or 5 years, and they had him do other things other than bats. They had him rub the baseballs before the game and get uniforms ready and do some laundry and
I bet that wasn't bad being a
no.
Yeah,
no, it was great. It was a great work experience for him.
Yeah. What was he, 12, 13 years old?
Yeah.
College girls
younger than that, even 8, 9, 10 years old.
Oh, well, then he probably didn't notice the hot college gals. But when he was...
Oh, yeah, he did.
Oh, he did?
He's my son.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Here we go. All right, boys. Well, that's okay. The UFL. I'm being straightened out here by our listening audience. The USFL combined with the XFL is just the UFL? That doesn't sound right to me. I'll have to check with my girlfriend.
Speaking of football this morning, I see where Peter King has announced his retirement.
Oh, wow.
From Football America.
From what?
Peter King. I'm sorry. Peter King.
Yes, he used to write for Sports Illustrated.
He did. That's correct. And he's been on Football Tonight, the NBC Sunday night game, as part of their correspondent for that game. He announced this morning on Twitter his retirement.
Well, I don't know how we will go on.
I think it's season.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Okay.
The guy's a legend.
Yeah, I remember reading
been around forever.
Monday morning quarterback.
Yes.
I don't know anything about that stuff, but when I was a kid,
Sports Illustrated.
My dad subscribed to Sports Illustrated. I'm going to go ahead and say maybe the first year he signed up for it was around 1982, and we got it all the way into the early 2000s. And I did read quite vigorously his NFL preview.
Yep.
That was big for me to see his Super Bowl predictions and things like that.
Yeah.
How old of a man is he now?
It doesn't say. I don't have it in front of me.
Okay. Well, yes.
66.
Well, that's kind of young.
Only 66? Really? For Christ's sake. So then all those years ago, he was writing those articles when he was in his 30s and such.
Oh, yeah. In 20s even.
I would have guessed he was way older. You guys have a wonderful day with the beautiful weather. Even if you just sit inside and look out the window, it's going to be a nice one.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Randy and Brad. We'll talk to you very soon. Here's the deal. Text us if you don't feel so good, or if you don't look so good, or what else is there, Josh? Maybe someone doesn't smell so good. Maybe it's something a doctor could help you with. Dr. P. Jesus is coming on in to handle your health questions for you. Text 651-989-9393. Dr. P is next on the program.
Half-assed morning show.
They're loud, they lose control, they do their little circus act, they're a nuisance.
93X.
Our experienced and certified technicians at Standard Heating have been trusted to keep our fellow Minnesotans comfortable and confident for over 90 years. We're ready to do the same for you, providing comfort you deserve since 1930.
Standard Heating is having their 94-year celebration. They have special offers just for you this February. Whether you need a new furnace or a tune-up, they have something special for everyone. Visit standardheating.com to save today.
On the Bigger Pockets Real Estate Podcast, co-host David Green and Rob Abasolo interview real estate investors and entrepreneurs about successes, failures, and hard-earned lessons. Joined by author Dave Meyer.
Who wrote a book? I did write a book. It seems like you're coming out with a book every 4 minutes. You are one to talk. You've released 2 books this year. I've done half as many as you.
It is more about strategy than it is about just finding whatever the new buzzword happens to be.
Bigger Pockets Real Estate Podcast on YouTube or wherever you listen.
Absolutely. It's 8:25 here on the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. One of our closest bros is all up in here, ready to help the brother and sisterhood with their general health issues. It's Dr. James Parnell. We hung the name Dr. P. Jesus on him a while ago, and it stuck like a sumbitch. Text 651-989-9393 if you've got something on your mind for the doctor. Hello, James.
Hello. Nice to be up in here.
Well, yeah, that's exactly where you is. That's where you is right now, up in here.
That's good timing. We're down a Muppet. We are.
I know.
Wapple, he's out sick today. Dana's been doing a nice job on the board.
Oh, that's kind of you to say.
Hopefully, no, you have. I mean, a couple of hiccups here and there, but it's a lot of work. I know it's a complicated process. But
we talked to Wapple over the weekend. He said he does not feel very good.
No, he tested positive for COVID on Friday, but he had mentioned that aside from, like the headache and all that kind of stuff you might expect, he's been getting it out of both ends. Oh. Is that a COVID symptom? I've never heard anybody dealing with that.
He's spraying out of both ends.
Yeah,
to me, that's not a particularly common scenario, but
he might have gotten double COVID
or something else as well. Yeah,
the flu at the same time.
A nice combo.
Heck
maybe,
no.
maybe. Yeah, I haven't. I really feel like that isn't a terribly common thing. But
he said it's been 3 days since he had a fat blunt.
Oh man, he is sick. Well,
no fat blunts.
Quick.
Yeah, he doesn't feel very good. So we're short, like Josh said. We're short one Muppet.
Hopefully we get him back soon enough.
You take his place then. You take his place.
Me?
You be our Muppet for the day.
Okay, I'll try.
What the hell's going on around here? We got people texting in looking for you to give your advice. If you're ready, have you got something to drink over there and you're all settled in?
Yeah, sure. Or I could work the board if you want. I mean, I think it would be terrible. But.
Dude.
That would be kind of fun to see you try it over there. I mean, because you've never done anything like that before, have you?
No.
What does this button do?
Yeah, whoops.
Should we switch jobs for the day, Dr. P?
Sure.
We haven't played that in a while. We haven't played What Does This Button Do in a while.
Up to shenanigans, Jesus has something related to a COVID symptom here, a bad cough for about 3 weeks. Congestion, no fever since the first 2 days. It's kept me home from work and activities, he said. Cough is pretty bad, but I don't have any medical insurance right now, so he's not sure what to do. I mean, our guy Randy Shavers had some major phlegm issues for the last couple weeks and sticking around.
Jesus, yeah, he's been hanging on to that for a couple weeks. He could barely get through our sports report this morning with the phlegm and the.
Oh, really? So that's still left over from that tournament because he got sick right after that.
Yep. Yes. So what's going on?
I mean, persistent cough after a viral infection can be a very, very annoying thing, and it's. I mean, honestly, it's probably one of the most common things we see in primary care, and I will say there is not a perfect solution to it. Some of it may depend on what exactly is triggering it to some degree. So a post-viral cough is very common. There's just sort of irritation of the lining of the lungs. And so you've got a little bit of extra, mucus production, and you're just hyperreactive airways essentially. And so you just keep coughing. I mean, there's plenty of over-the-counter things you can try. The various tussin type medications that they either help you or they don't. I think honey, or honey-containing lozenges have been shown to help. Actually, amazingly enough, something as simple as honey can help. Grandma's old recipe was, honey and whiskey. I don't know if I'd recommend that for people during the day, but increased humidification can help. So a humidifier in your bedroom, particularly this time of year, where it hasn't been particularly cold, but typically in Minnesota in the winter when we have the heat on, the air is very dry, and that tends to make things worse. Then the other thing would be if you have an infection and you've got a lot of nasal symptoms, using either a nasal steroid medication, anti-inflammatory, or even a few days of a nasal decongestant like Afrin can help, or using saline irrigation. So the neti pot.
Oh, you spray that swill up into your nose.
Yeah, I mean, you can. There's many ways to do it. You can sort of, the simple thing to do is to get a little spray mist thing, just a bottle of it, and you can spray saline up in there. That's not quite as effective as the neti pot, where you literally pour
Navage
salt. Yeah, I actually have that Navage thing. I had a couple sinus infections last year. It is pretty impressive. I mean, it really is powered suction for your nose, as the guy says.
And it cleans you right out.
Holy cow. It is something
You had
else.
good experience with that.
I had used the neti pots for years, and you gotta like tilt your head weird, and you guys can see me, but it's like a little teapot almost that you get a flow of salt water up in one nostril that comes out the other. But that Navage thing, just you plop it on your face and hit the button, and it just woo.
Away you go.
Do you want to make sure that no chicks are looking when you do that?
I think you definitely. Yeah, there's a particular kind of chick that might be into that, but most would not be.
Hey, baby, you want to come over and check out my neti pot?
Yeah, exactly.
You know who loves to pump a humidifier at night? And that's you know who that is? My friggin' wife. She likes to pump those
just
humidifiers.
in the winter?
Just
in the winter,
yeah, because the air is, like you were saying, Dr. P, because the air is so dry.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of things that can be tried, and honestly, the main thing is time.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, he's been holding on to it for a few weeks. So hopefully that goes by.
Dr. P, while we're talking about the respiratory system, isn't that what we were just discussing?
Yes.
Okay. Got a text from a listener who says, I feel like I can't get a satisfying breath of air, and it's causing me to yawn a lot. Is this a cause for concern? Feeling short of breath, I think, I can't get a satisfying breath of air.
Yeah, I've never heard that term satisfying. That's an interesting way to put it.
Yeah, it is. A well-spoken person here.
Yes, yeah.
Causing me to yawn a lot. Isn't a yawn a sign that we are low on oxygen?
I don't know. A yawn is a thing that is not just in humans. I mean, if you think about it, you see various other mammals do it.
I bore my dogs. They do it a lot.
Cats clearly do it. I think, monkeys, apes do it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know about fish, but they're not mammals.
You are kind of sounding like Wapple now.
Birds. What else? No, I don't know how to do Wapple.
Wapple would say something like that.
Right.
Yeah, it is a very Wapple thing.
I don't know about fish. All I know is that I got home today and I smoked some. Go ahead.
How about amoeba? So a yawn. I'm not sure. I don't think anybody knows what yawns are. But okay, let's see.
Really, no one knows what a yawn is.
No. I
thought maybe one day on this program you explained to us what a yawn is. Maybe that was the liquor talking.
Well, I think there's speculation that it.
Well, Josh doesn't like to speculate.
No, I don't.
It is sort of it's a deep.
And I bet you can guess why.
I forgot the rest of that little slogan.
Premature speculation or something?
That's right.
Okay, right.
Okay. So anyway, let's see. A yawn. Yeah, who knows? We could get into that later if we want. But
yeah, I always thought it was to get a little shot of oxygen into your bloodstream there.
I mean, I think there's a thought that it could help with something called atelectasis, which is basically, we think of our lungs as kind of like a big open, cavity, but they're not. I mean, it's more like a sponge filling up with air, I guess is a way to think of it.
Gotcha.
And so there are some larger airway spaces, but then ultimately most of the lung tissue is very tiny little spaces, and they have to stay moist to stay open. If those little airways, they can tend to collapse a little bit, particularly if you're sick or if you don't take deep breaths. So I think that is the thought, is taking a deep breath with a yawn could open some of those tiny little airways and prevent airway collapse. But
Josh knows what it looks like to see a dinosaur yawn.
Oh, yeah. When my son was born.
Right.
Yeah.
He looked like a dinosaur?
No, where he originated from. His path into the world looked as if a dinosaur was yawning, Dr. P.
That's so terrible. But I love that story.
Oh, boy.
Snakes yawn. People say that snakes yawn. Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. Shortness of breath. So there's a big difference between shortness of breath, which is that's where we get more concerned. If you like, if you're trying to walk upstairs and you're like gasping for breath. I mean, I consider that shortness of breath. When people talk about not being able to get a satisfying breath or feel like they can't, the term I've heard more is like can't take a deep enough breath. It's like this sort of, it's just a feeling, but it's not like a really uncomfortable feeling. I would say, I mean, the most common thing I have seen with that is it's anxiety, really.
That's funny.
You know what? A few people have texted that in.
There you go.
Maybe check out anxiety.
That is
very knowledgeable listeners.
Yeah, I mean that phrase again. I like that not getting a satisfying breath, but not feeling like you can quite take a deep enough breath is often sort of a sense of anxiety, I think.
Okay.
As opposed to congestive heart failure or pneumonia or asthma, where you're like, I'm short of breath. You're not saying I can't take a deep enough breath. You're like, I can't breathe right. I know that when people start antidepressants, I feel like this has come up before, particularly if you start something like Prozac, Zoloft, Paxil, so the serotonin medications. There's a weird thing where people can have that sensation and they yawn a lot when they first start a medicine like that. And it's very odd, but and it goes away, in a few weeks. But so if this person happened to start a medication like that, I would say it's not terrible that it's happening. Obviously, if they're walking around, going upstairs, doing things that they used to do, and they're getting short of breath and don't feel right, you got to go.
That's worrisome.
Yeah, that's definitely worrisome. A subtle sense of not, quite being able to take a deep enough breath. It's at least interesting to think about stress and anxiety and, what's going on in your life.
Anxiety can be a hell of a thing.
Yeah. It's weird how it manifests itself, right? A friend of mine went to the emergency room because they thought he was having a heart attack, but it was an anxiety attack.
Right.
No, it's and it's just hyper prevalent in our society, I think. I mean, maybe it has been forever, but the pace of society, the constant attention to phones, the inability to have any downtime, I think is not helping anybody.
And the nice thing about this buddy of mine, his coworkers went there. They were afraid he was having a heart attack, and when they found out the cause of it, they didn't give him all levels of hell at all. And he had,
No. I'm sure they were very sympathetic.
Very sympathetic when they found out he was having an anxiety attack.
Right,
that would make it so much worse.
I think he didn't appreciate that.
Remember that scene from that De Niro movie? What was that called? Him and Billy Crystal, where, De Niro's the gangster. Big surprise, De Niro played a gangster, and Billy Crystal was the psychologist. What the hell was that?
Analyze This?
Analyze This. When the, tough guy De Niro had an anxiety attack, and the doctor tells him it's an anxiety attack as opposed to a heart attack, De Niro's character was furious. I didn't have an anxiety attack. I'm a big tough guy, right?
Right.
Had to have been a heart attack.
Right. Actually, and Tony Soprano has the same thing, right?
I was going to say, that's the entire plot of The Sopranos.
Oh,
Never
really?
saw it.
Yeah, I didn't see it either.
Yeah.
Never saw.
Spaceship Superstar Jesus is having something interesting happen.
Spaceship Superstar. I think that's the first time I've heard that one.
He said he's having a hard time remembering things and trouble keeping up with conversation. Just getting words out is becoming a problem. A few times a week, I have no idea what I was doing or where I am.
What?
I'm also starting to have trouble doing the simplest of tasks without having to ask for someone to help or thinking on it harder than I should. I also have regular dull headaches on the top left part of my head. It's been happening for the last year or so. I'm 27 and in fairly decent health other than this.
Dude.
Well,
I've never heard of anything like that in my life.
Probably wouldn't sit on that one much longer.
No.
Yeah, I mean, that was a lot of stuff. Yeah, I mean, that's, a bunch of neurological symptoms. Thought process, word finding, is that what he said?
Yeah, having trouble,
Yeah, process. I mean,
and following conversations.
And a persistent, a persistent headache. I mean, you got to go be seen.
That makes me nervous.
I mean, that shouldn't, if you're 80 and you've got some of that stuff that's been gradual for several years and you don't have a headache, then maybe we think about some sort of dementia. But yeah, a young person shouldn't have any of that stuff going on. So, you need to be seen, need to be examined, need to have imaging, and it'll be, I mean, we never want to scare people on here, but you got to rule out a brain tumor. You got to rule out seizures disorder, because you could have some kind of atypical seizures or partial seizures that. But yeah, I mean, something's clearly not right.
A couple months. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, that's you got to get in today to be seen and just get on with it, and probably don't be driving. I mean, it's
God dang.
Yeah.
A couple of months ago, I had a few of these symptoms. Like I was having a lot of trouble coming up with words, just like he said. I was having a lot of trouble thinking. It was weird. And I was forgetting things. It was silly how much I was forgetting. And my wife had read about like creatine helping with some of that stuff. And I started taking creatine, and it helped out. Have you heard of something like that, Dr. P?
Creatine. What is
creatine's like
what's that?
Protein.
Yeah, did you get jacked?
Right. Usually, people use it when lifting and stuff. It helps your body recover.
That's why.
So I think it something to do with maybe holding more water in your brain.
So you rub it on your skin?
Well, if you did, you'd be using it wrong. You consume it. Like you put it in a shake or something like that.
Am I thinking of something else? Isn't there?
Are you thinking of like a topical steroid?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah, not that.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I don't know. And you had it did you have it for a few days or weeks or?
Oh, it was like a couple weeks.
You couldn't come up with words?
No, not at all.
I'm your best friend. You didn't tell me this?
Well, I didn't want to tell you. I don't know. I didn't want to complain. But yeah, with my wife, there's I would forget stuff instantaneously to the point where I was getting concerned.
Oh,
and
Jesus.
It's made a difference.
Well, I can't.
Well, I shouldn't say it's made a difference. It could just be a coincidence, but it seemed like about a week after I started taking this stuff, it's helped out.
And you still are?
Yeah, still am. Like Dana said, that's why my forearms have forearms.
Don't die on me, Cubby.
Well, it's better now. I don't know what was going on.
I'm going to go back and work with my brother-in-law at that friggin' Chrysler plant if something happens to Cubby.
I'm going to start creatine today for sure.
Well, hey, I get worried about saying something like that. I don't want anybody to think that I know what I'm talking about here, but I can just tell you, I looked it up a little bit, and it seemed to help with that. And if it could be a complete coincidence, but I'm way better.
That's really fascinating.
I mean, I guess it's like there's not some simple protein deficiency thing that I can think of that would explain your symptoms and that would be resolved by intake of more protein. Although, again, during our commercial break, I'll just take a quick look to see if I can come up with anything. But
anything for what?
Oh, just anything.
No. Sorry.
Oh, no.
Oh, boy.
Should have wrote that down.
Yeah. Whoops.
Ringworm.
Ooh. Huh?
Gross.
Somebody texted in about ringworm.
Nobody wants that.
You want to talk about it?
Well, here's what they want to know. A wrestler catches ringworm.
Oh, yeah.
How long should they keep from wrestling anybody else?
Oh, boy.
And then you can look up all that stuff when we go to commercial break. You can look up that other stuff.
Yeah, and we might have to look that. I would think that
we'll have to reiterate all this to Josh, as he doesn't know what the hell anyone's talking about
Josh
anymore.
Who?
Oh,
Josh again.
Ringworm swimming around under the skin of a wrestler. How long do they?
So it's a fungal infection, and there's a handful of skin infections that are very common to wrestlers. Ringworm is probably the most common one. The other couple are molluscum contagiosum, which is like these little pimply looking things with a little dimple in the middle, and then of course herpes of the skin. I don't know I can't remember what the recommend. I would think you probably can't wrestle till it's pretty much gone. But I'll have to look that up. I would think the wrestling teams and league have some.
They've got stipulations.
Yep.
Guidelines.
Yep. And maybe it's can it be covered? And if not, because it can. I mean, I think before wrestling matches, I feel like I even did this during residency. Like to volunteer, you'd like go and the wrestlers have to stand there and you look over their skin and you have to check.
Oh
them
yeah.
out. Yeah, basically.
Oh, Ashley, you'd hate that job, right?
Right. You have to touch the muscly parts just to make sure they're okay.
Oh no.
Hell yeah.
No, but
What the hell?
So yeah, you do get inspected. I'm kidding about the touching muscles.
Dana has hell yeah touching muscles and whiskey and honey so far this spring.
Right.
Did you guys have this experience back in high school? Whenever you had a problem with a wrestler and you squared up to fight, they squared up to wrestle.
Oh.
Anybody?
No.
And then they would like.
I was smart
probably
enough not to mess
tackle
with
you,
them.
or they would get down on the ground and you'd have to grab them around the abdomen. That kind
Well,
of
that
thing.
was the thing, and then you'd have to say, no, time out. Well, I didn't sign up to wrestle. This is a fist
I'm
fight.
gonna hit you.
You guys did. They always wanted, and I understood why, because that was their field of expertise. But we'd have to say, no. It's we both close our eyes and swing wildly at each other. You don't know what a
right. We're not in Rome.
It's not like I challenge you to a hockey playoff against each other.
It was the oddest thing.
I did fencing in high school, so I look ridiculous when I'm squaring up for a fight.
It was a real thing, though. They'd get into that. They'd be like, no. There's no ref here with a green towel and a red towel. We're gonna fit. You had to be there, I guess.
I know we gotta take a break, but I think this will be a quick one.
Sure.
This person says they got bit by a dog last night and it drew blood. Anything to watch for? I could tell you, Beavis and Butthead, one of the most recent seasons, it was pretty funny. So Beavis gets bit by, I think it was a rabid raccoon.
Oh no!
And he gets rabies, but they just learned about puberty in school. So as his body is deteriorating, he thinks he's just going through the changes of puberty.
Gosh.
Oh, that was a good episode.
And he's got rabies.
Yeah, but he has rabies. If you're looking for something to watch, that was good. But, all right, so Dr. P, do they need to look? What do they look for?
God dang, a dog bit you.
I mean, well, the thing is with a dog bite, if they puncture the skin, you need to. That's when you need to know the history of the dog.
Oh yeah.
If you don't, because you really do need to know: are they vaccinated against rabies? If you don't know, or if the owners don't know and can't prove it, I mean, this is when, the dog needs to be in quarantine.
Oh, hell yeah. No, that didn't make sense in that.
No. And/or you have to go get rabies shots. And often you do need some.
What a nightmare.
My stepdaughter had
antibiotics for, just for bacterial infection, because cat bites, dog bites, human bites, all of those bites are notorious for.
Make you very sick.
Don't you want to go right away?
Yeah. I mean, so the person needs to go be seen today. And truly, if
today you're saying,
yeah, if they can get that documentation from, hopefully they know, whose dog it is and all that. Because truly, if you're not going to be able to find that out, you got to get a rabies vaccine.
When I was a kid, a Brittany Spaniel.
Rabies
What'd you
vaccine
say?
and treatment too. Sorry, that's
rabies vaccine and treatment.
Yeah.
When I was a kid, a Brittany Spaniel bit my lips off.
Oh man!
Ouch.
For me. Yeah, bit my lips off.
But they grew back.
Yeah, they put them back on. But she bit my lips off.
Maybe you didn't mean those ones.
And she attempted to kiss my ass with them. She did. It was terrible and it hurt like hell. And we had some interesting stuff earlier that you were going to look up, right, Dr. P, before we get to a couple more?
Yeah, absolutely. So quickly, for wrestlers, it looks like the NCAA guidelines say it's a little confusing.
Ringworm is the issue here.
So ringworm, right. So fungal infection on the skin. Basically, you have to show evidence that you've used oral or topical treatment for at least 3 days on most of the skin, for 2 weeks on the scalp. But if you've got sort of active lesions that can't be covered, they won't let you wrestle. So
you got to get that taken care of before they'll let you wrestle.
Yep. And then the creatine thing is interesting. I mean, in terms of whether the question was, can creatine help cognitive function? I think or brain function.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like there is some evidence of that. I was looking at a sports medicine journal, but I don't know. I mean, for the listener who had texted in, who's had a year of headaches and like pretty significant neurologic symptoms, I would not suggest starting creatine. I would go be seen. But Josh, maybe you're onto something.
Yeah, I don't know. I just could be a coincidence that it started to work shortly after the loading phase. You take a bunch at first, but the texter, they had a lot more going on than I did.
Oh, geez,
for me, it was forgetting stuff. I mean, just words. I'd get stuck in the middle of a sentence. I couldn't come up with words I knew.
Well, Christ, that happens to me all the time. But you also were saying you couldn't function normally.
No, it was noticeably bad. Like my wife, she left me.
She did?
Yeah, she did.
But then she came
bummer.
back.
Yeah.
That scares the hell out of me. All right,
she said she did air quotes for in sickness and in health.
She crossed her fingers
And I
behind her
believed her
back.
because I couldn't remember.
Appreciate you looking that stuff up, Dr. P, because that's
Thanks,
important.
bro.
You bet.
How about a brand new question here for Dr. P? We got a few more minutes. This came in from a listener. How many nosebleeds is normal in, say, a week? Listener says, I average about 4. My coworkers call me plasma.
Whoa. I've only gotten 2 in my whole entire life, so I'd say any.
You know,
is
I'm
a
lucky.
lot
I've
like
never
that.
actually had an actual nosebleed.
Maybe 1 or 2 in my lifetime as well.
Oh, yeah, mine have always been, like, because of something. Like, my last nosebleed I had is because my dog accidentally, like, punched me in the face.
Oh, well,
it's
that
not
doesn't
like I'm not just sitting
count,
there,
right?
you know?
Well, then that doesn't count.
Yeah,
We're talking about out of nowhere's nosebleeds.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, never had one of those then.
It's funny that nosebleeds come up because I got a text from Wapple. He was checking in on the show, make things were going smooth. I asked him how he's doing, and he said, threw up a couple times from 3 to 4 this morning, still sweating, and just had a massive bloody nose for 20 minutes.
He's on his way out.
Yeah, what's going on?
Nosebleeds, though. He
says, I think
tells
he
us
does.
that.
Okay. Oh, he does?
Yeah, that it is when he gets sick or when the seasons change, he says he gets them pretty often.
It was nice knowing him. 4 nosebleeds in a week. His coworkers call him plasma.
Yeah, I mean, normal, I would say, would be 0 nosebleeds in a week. I mean, truly, an occasional nosebleed is not uncommon for some people. I'd say a lot of people don't have problems. That a nosebleed essentially is it's a mucous membrane up in your nose, and that means there's blood vessels just under the surface. There's supposed to be a moist sort of moist surface, but some people have blood vessels a little closer to the very surface, and they just they break open. The most common cause of nosebleeds is
telekinesis.
Yes, and number 2 is your finger in your nose.
Yeah, plasma. Get back to us. Are you a nose picker?
Right. Digital trauma is how we would say it. Putting your finger in your nose and working it.
I know earlier we were talking about dry air, and you might want to get a humidifier. Maybe plasma works in an environment with powders, and could that play a factor?
Works with cocaine.
Yeah.
It could be anything that irritates, especially against people. There's certain people who are just predisposed to having them.
Right.
And I unfortunately have been one of those people. And it's not from digital trauma. No, it's I don't know why.
Okay.
I have allergies, and I think that can do it. And maybe that's what they were. What Wapple was sort of alluding to. People with seasonal allergies tend to get irritation in the nose, and that makes those blood vessels more swollen, and then they're more likely to bleed. So it's
good luck to you, plasma.
Yeah, moisturizing. If you're
What about that humidifier you were talking about?
Right, humidifier. Yeah, but
put one of those in the work truck.
Yeah, or just truly in your bedroom is probably because you sleep all night there, and that can help. If you have a nosebleed that just won't stop, or it's just happening, again and again and again, sometimes you end up needing to go to the ear, nose, throat doctor where they cauterize that blood vessel. But
oh, he just got back to us and says sometimes it's not even his blood.
Oh, that's messed up.
That's weird.
Yeah, that's not good.
You know what I'm saying,
right?
Here's a gal who says she keeps getting UTIs after going to the gym, so I stopped going to the gym. Do you have any reason behind this? Picking up UTIs at the gym. What are you doing, sitting on the bench naked or something like that?
Right. Urinary,
Sleeping with a trainer? Or?
Oh, my. Yeah, urinary tract infections.
Well,
in women.
I guess I could understand that.
Sleeping with a trainer? What?
That being possible.
Oh, I thought you meant the sleeping
what,
with the trainer.
What being
part.
possible?
Getting a UTI from the gym.
Why does that suddenly make sense to you?
Because a lot of girls, well, myself included sometimes, you wear such thin spandex shorts. And usually you're not wearing underwear with them because they have built-in underwear.
Built-in underwear.
Yeah, or whatever it is that they have. It's like a little thing. And I guess from excessive sweating and then people not wiping up their mats or where they're sitting.
So you're sitting with these see-through shorts on a damp, bench that some animal just sweat all over and then it gets onto your privates.
Yep.
I mean,
exactly that.
I think
Jesus.
You might have just sort of answered it. Yeah, I think it's sweating and it's the clothing you're wearing typically. So
UTIs. Oh God.
Some of that. I've found this with the moisture wicking materials. They're great, except they're difficult to clean sometimes, especially with with front-loading washers where you don't have a lot of water volume, and people use too much detergent, which holds the dirt in that kind of material. So it
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a huge problem in our society for front-load washer users. But no, seriously, people eat
That is really interesting, actually.
But Josh, tell us about your top 5 worst UTIs.
I've actually had a couple, and they're bad.
They are so stingy.
Oh, yeah. I had one that went to the kidneys. That was very painful.
It settled down into your kidneys.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry to hear about your crotch rot there, lady.
So I would suggest she may want to just look at what she's wearing and change it up.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but put some clothes on before you go to the gym.
Maybe. Right. Just some boxers, maybe.
Yeah, put on a pair of old rusty boxers. All right, we got to get going, I guess, Dr. P, although it sucks when we have to say goodbye.
I know, you do so well.
We always have fun talking with you, that.
It's great to be here. Can I plug something really quick?
Yes, please do.
Let me take a guess what this is going to be.
Is it pickleball related?
No, it's not at all.
Whoa.
Nothing to do with
not
pickleball, so Nick will be relieved.
Go ahead. What do you got?
I have been the last month or so volunteering at this a dog rescue place called Warrior Dog Rescue. In Savage. And it's just been very cool. Hanging out with some of the puppy litters that they have saved from, they bring them up from southern states, mostly Alabama. And then yesterday I was there for most of the day, basically receiving a transport from Alabama of 2 vans of, it was like 25 or more adult dogs and several litters of puppies. And we just get them processed, get them their medications, and get them up to foster homes. But if you're looking for an adult dog or a puppy, or a good volunteer thing to do, I would check them out. It really is unbelievable.
When those van loads of dogs and puppies show up, you just lay on the parking lot and just let them
just like
this
Family Guy.
just kicking your legs like a baby.
It's kind of, I mean, it's truly being in a room with like 3 litters of puppies and little, toddler pens and stuff.
It's a joyous thing.
It is insane, yeah. So, yeah, Warrior Dog Rescue, they are great people. And I think the stat I saw, they have saved like over 3,300 dogs in the last 6 years.
Wow, man.
It's a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Josh has puppy breath.
Thank you.
He does. He has a little puppy breath smell to him.
So with the name Warriors, does this benefit the military in some way?
Ooh, not that I know of. That's a great question. I don't remember seeing that on the website, but
just a cool name.
Yeah. I mean, definitely a cool name, and I think obviously, it's unbelievable how many dog rescues or animal rescues, but mostly dog rescues there are in Minnesota that bring up animals from the southern states of the U.S. It's we
must eat a lot of dogs here.
Oh, jeez.
No.
My God.
Oh, that's not what's happening? Oh.
Boy, let's, can we erase that part? Cool name, but maybe it does have something to do with military recognition. I'm not sure.
Warrior Dog Rescue. I'm looking it up right now.
We got it, Dr. P.
Cool.
You're a good man for volunteering your damn time.
Thank you. It's a good time.
And we'll see you in a couple weeks.
Sounds good.
Thank you.
Bye.
Shout out to the Los Primos podcast from Mopar Dad Jesus, a.k.a. Lake Street Taco Jesus. Thank you to Death Mega Jesus for bringing 93X to Arizona for work this week. People can do that now more reliably due to the 93X app, which the company seemed to nail. We were all speculating it was going to fail miserably, but they did a great job on that. If you are interested in checking out our new 93X app. And then happy birthday to Tom from Ranger Gear Grinder Jesus.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Standard Heating is having their 94-year celebration. They have special offers just for you this February. Whether you need a new furnace or a tune-up, they have something special for everyone. Visit standardheating.com to save today.